What's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all. Good to see ya. Plethora of moose, homebrewed dwarf, Labrador, Duca Buddy, Dogamith. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone had a great weekend, is having a wonderful Tuesday. We're janking around with some more anthology stuff. There's still a couple things on the list we haven't gotten to yet, with the biggest, literally, being Tooth and Nail shenanigans. I really want to see Tooth and Nail go off. I don't know if it's good. This is actually a viewer submitted build. I have another build that I put together, but we're going to see if we can do some Tooth and Nailing. A classic old school finisher brought to Arena for the first time. Cash Money Misplay for the 26 month. Welcome to the Fishbowl, and also for the kind words, big scoops cheer for our new subscriber. Meat Puppets legit underrated. Like seriously, Meat Puppets, they're actually a really good band. Even I think their music stands up today. I still listen to their albums to this day on occasion, and they're really good. I'm glad someone else knows Cowpunk though. That's obscure 80s indie reference. Bosch Wards, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. So the plan for today, Black Just Gold, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Hey, what's up, Cyberlinos? How are you? Good to see you. So the plan for today, we're starting with Tooth and Nail. I'm gonna start with the viewer deck. Maybe we play my deck, which I don't even know if it's better than the viewer deck, honestly. Tooth and Nail is kind of a janky, rampy archetype. I also have this weird build of vampires I really want to try. So one of the more interesting new cards from the anthology is Bloodghast. Bloodghast, a legit all-star in older formats. The ability to just keep coming back into play thanks to landfall, really powerful. So the idea of this deck, and I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's an idea. It is at least an idea, I know that for sure, is to use Bloodghast to sacrifice to Sorin to gain life to trigger Silver Smotes, so we can sack the Silver Smotes to things like Yahenni and Vulcanwrath Aristocrat to gain a bunch of life with Cruel Celebrants and Blood Artists, and then play Astarion to drain our opponent out of the game on our end step. So we also have Veto to double up all of our life gain, turn it into damage. So we might mess around with some strange vampires as well. Hey, what's up, Stone Rain? How are you? But we're gonna start with Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail first. Anyway, let's do our reminders. Replay YouTube. That's where you can find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Yesterday, I have a YouTube question for you all, actually, chat. So yesterday, we played some more Blackbird. Blackbird, one of the favorite budget decks in Modern that we've played in the last few months. So we did an update of Blackbird. The update of Blackbird, not as budget friendly. So I'm trying to figure out how to classify decks like this. So one thing I get asked about a lot is do updates of budget Magic decks. I want to see the updated version. I want to see the non-budget version. I don't do it very often, but this would be a non-budget version of a budget Magic deck. Do you put it under budget Magic since it references the original and it's like the upgrade path for the original? Or do you put it on something else, another series name? Because technically this build isn't budget because it has Bowmasters and some fetch lands. So I'm curious if you got any feedback on where to actually put it. Regardless, if you haven't seen it, the deck's super fun. You can't be the guy who created the website. I'm not the guy that created the website. That's Richard. I am this guy. I am the guy who does all the content on the website. So I've been the content manager for Goldfish for, oh my god, a long time now, many days. But yeah, Richard technically founded the site, and then I came in about a year after he founded it, when the site started doing content. But yeah, check that out on the YouTube. If you got feedback, Stone Rain for the 25th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Yeah, I can't believe the Zero Lender worked. That was so lucky. I guess lucky is probably the best word for that, but yeah. We did get there. A reminder that our sponsor today's Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, maybe you need some Blackburn pieces or a Tooth and Nail or just some Commander Master stuff, you can snag them over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Even get a free Goldfish sticker. Just ask for one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Otherwise, merch page, token, t-shirts, playmat, good way to support the stream and the channel and the site. Donations, always appreciated, never required. $2 or more gets your message read on stream. There's also apparently there's also apparently, I don't know if I've seen this, there's a new, oh, here it is. Okay, I know there's a new survey. I'm not going to do this whole survey for Arena at the moment because it's usually really long and like kind of pointless, but I actually have a question about this. My question is, so I'm sure y'all get these surveys as well. You get these surveys, you see them in game, you see them on social media, wherever. One of the big questions in this one, it has all the typical stuff. Do you hate Arena? Do you like Arena? How much do you play it? All that stuff. But it has questions about like, okay, which do you want to see us bring to Arena? Do you want 4-player Commander? Do you want Modern? Do you want Pioneer? Questions like that. My question for all of you is, does any of this even matter? I feel like we get these surveys every month, every quarter, like regularly we get their surveys that are often asking the same thing. Do you think that our voices are actually making an impact on these surveys? Like, if we all say we really want Modern, does that mean Modern's coming? Because it feels like we get the same questions all the time and answer the same questions all the time, but then nothing really changes, at least not as quickly as I would like. So I've started to become a little bit skeptical that, I mean, I'm sure it has an impact, but maybe not as much of an impact as I would like it to have. Because I feel like there's got to be a lot of people saying, like, yeah, add Commander, please, or yeah, add full Pioneer, please. But then, like, it still just doesn't happen at a reasonable pace. But yeah, I mean, it's got to have some impact, right? You can't gather all that data and not do anything with it. I would hope not, at least. If I was looking to upgrade my budget deck, I look at the budget deck for a link to the upgrade version. See, that makes sense, right? They got to be connected in some way. So people who see the budget one find the non-budget, or back and forth, see the non-budget one, can find the budget one if they don't want to start off with the non-budget one. But anyway, what are we playing today? What are we starting with today? We are starting with Tooth and Nail. So what is the idea of Tooth and Nail? Tooth and Nail is this old card from Mirrodin Block 20 years ago. You really want to entwine it. If you entwine it, you get both of its two modes. Mode 1 is search for 2 creatures, put them in your hand. Mode 2 is put 2 creatures from your hand on the battlefield. So our goal is to get to 9 mana, so we can entwine Tooth and Nail, which means we get to tutor for 2 creatures and put them onto the battlefield. Ideally, those 2 creatures will be Xenagos, God of Revels, and Worldspine Worm. And then we do the indomitable creativity trick of, like, Xenagos targets Worldspine, makes it a 30-30 hasty trampler, smash our opponent, win the game on the spot. We can also, like, get Primeval Titans if we want to, or, I don't know, Courser of Crewfix or something. But really, that's the main game plan. Otherwise, 9 mana is a lot. It is a really big number. So we got a bunch of ramp. We got a Abriel Grazer. I can't believe we played Abriel Grazer decks 2 days in a row on stream. What have I become, chat? What have I become? But we had a bunch of ramp in the early game to hopefully get us to the 1 ring, to draw a bunch of cards, to get us to the Tooth and Nail and go from there. And that's essentially the plan of the deck. What is our missing sideboard card? I feel like we're missing something in the sideboard. Haywire Might? There's so many 1 rings. Another Haywire Might's probably fine. Wait, why is this not rebalanced? Oh no. Oh, it's set under limited. I see. Arena. How do I even... There we go. Historic. Boom. Problem solved. Anyway, how was everyone's weekend? Anyone do anything fun? The 1 ring ban when? Well, we're going to find that out pretty soon. Because this weekend... How many of you realize this? Because every time I mention this, everyone's like, oh, I didn't know about this. Why didn't Wizards actually, like, let us know about this? How many of you knew there was a Pro Tour this weekend featuring the Modern format? Did anyone actually realize that? There is, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from MagicCon Barcelona, Modern Pro Tour, our first Modern Pro Tour in years? Like, it has been a minute. Yeah, I guess Spike would be someone who would be sharing the Pro Tour news, yeah. I'm actually really hyped for it. I love Modern Pro Tours are my favorite Pro Tours, so I'm really excited. We'll see. I don't know. I might, if I get my stuff done and I'm actually just like watching and not watching while I'm doing other stuff, I might try to fire up the stream and do a little co-streaming for the. Well, okay, this hand's not good, but we do have a bunch of delighted halflings. Is there any way we actually get to Primeval Titan? Maybe we put a halfling to the bottom, actually. That's probably makes the most sense. Halfling, Explore, Titan, GG. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do some co-streaming of the Pro Tour. A little Saffron Olive commentary, the best commentary. It'll be very early because it's from the EU, so I think it's starting at like 5 a.m. Eastern. Although usually the first like million hours are limited, which I don't care that much about. Limited, I don't mind like watching the draft, like that's kind of fun, but I don't actually really care about watching limited gameplay. So yes, if I did it, it would be for the constructed round, see what's going on with Modern. But all that to say, I think we'll find out a lot more about how broken the One Ring really is and how broken Bowmasters really is at this event. I think it is going to go a long way in determining the future of those cards, to the point where if the One Ring dominates this event, we got a BNR announcement the next Monday. We're a week away from another BNR announcement. So I think it's, boy, Crucius is still busted. This rebalancing did not actually, like, yes, it matters when you have a Bowmaster deck, but like against our deck, Crucius is a 3-1 or Crucius is a 3-3. Literally no difference. None whatsoever, and I think we're just dead here. One Ring, pretty bad against Shieldred. Draw a card, it's not a land. I don't know about this. So this is a viewer submitted build. I don't know about this Knight of the Reliquary plan. What is the... So I guess the idea is Knight of the Reliquary... It just doesn't ramp us, right? So I guess I can, like, find a Nykthos. This is the card I'm most skeptical of. Like, I'm not sure... So I guess it can kind of ramp with Lotus Cobra. I don't know. I'm not convinced the Knight of the Reliquary can hold its own in this deck. Like, Knight of the Reliquary... Is Knight of the Reliquary even good anymore? I don't know if Knight of the Reliquary is even good anymore. Knight of the Reliquary might just not... It might be a 2010 All-Star. Like... We need to do, you know, like, do you follow sports at all? Do you ever follow sports? They'll do like all decade teams where, because kind of like Magic, how do you compare, I don't know, Wilt Chamberlain to LeBron James or something, Bill Russell to, you know, whoever? Like, it's very hard to compare people across generations because people get better, the rules change. I feel like Magic is kind of the same way. Like, I feel like we need to do like an all-decade team of like the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. Knight of the Reliquary might be on the all-decade team of like the 2000s. Like, it was a really good card when it first came out. Like, it's all played all the way back to Legacy. It's Maverick deck. It was good in Modern. It was really good. It was big. It's got synergies. It can work as a tutor. It's really, really good. But I feel like Knight is one of those cards that's just kind of sadly gotten a little tiny bit power crept out of Magic for the most part. Unless you have a very, like, specific deck that can take advantage of it. Ooh, Wolf Run Ramp. Wait, is Wolf Run on Arena? Do we actually have Wolf Run? That would be kind of fun to play some... Oh, God. We're definitely running out of time. It would be kind of fun to take some old standard decks with Titans and see if we could build them on Arena. No Valika. Wasn't Valika an important part of that or no? Stone Stunks! Let me see. Zada A. Zada's such a unique card. Still no ramp. Yeah, I don't really like the ramp package in this deck. I guess we should have mulliganed. I'm also... So, Lotus... One thing you got to keep in mind if you're building decks these days is... Orcish Bowmaster is very, very, very popular at the moment. X1's not in a good place in essentially any format. Because they just died to the Bowmasters, and everyone's playing the Bowmasters. So I think Bowmasters has kind of just pushed any X1s out of the game, really. Opponent. Yeah, Gates, Primeval Titan Gates is really good. We played that last stream. Crucius. Busted. How is anyone actually playing Standard? How's Standard these days? I've played like a game of Standard, I think, since Lord of the Rings came out. I'm actually wondering, I'm wondering when my desire for Standard is going to return. This Eldraine set, the other big news of the week is, so we have the Pro Tour this weekend. From the Pro Tour in the Magic God, we're also getting our first Eldraine spoilers. I feel like Standard's future kind of rests on this set. This set, I think, is kind of very make or break for Standard. Elenazer, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup tier for you. Thank you. Yeah, like, they need Eldraine to not be busted, because people are going to freak out if it's busted, but they need Eldraine to be strong enough to make Standard change. Because they took the extra crispy recipe of canceling rotation for the year. Wizards. Because they did that, the metagame, even with the bannings, like, it looks the same as always. It's still all the black cards that we've seen for 12 months now. It's still the Wandering Emperor that we've seen for 18 months now. It's still Sheoldred that we've seen for a year now. So because they decided to cancel rotation, they really need to hit with Eldraine. Like, if they I actually have a big fear of how this is going to turn out. Like, if they take and release Eldraine, nothing happens, Standard remains where it is now, what do you do? What's the future look like in that scenario? Oh, Crucius is so busted. Busted Crucius. So that's my fear. Like, if nothing changes, they also painted themselves into the corner of saying no bannings after August 7th. Like, no, we're not planning on banning anything until next August 7th. So it's not like you can ban stuff to change the format. So I'm actually, I'm a little nervous. I'm remaining hopeful. I'm hoping that Eldraine, like, hits it out of the park and it shakes up Standard and it's, like, amazing and everyone loves it. That's what I want to see happen, but I am a little afraid that won't happen. Do you think basic land prime time would be fine for Standard? If Wizards ever want to reprint Titans, that may be a version that wouldn't ruin Pioneer. Basic land prime time would be fine. I don't even know, how good would basic land prime time be? Would basic land prime time even be good? Oh, okay, yeah, opponent has found a Sheoldred again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there any way out of this? Are we just literally dead? Probably. Yeah, I mean, we're just getting Crucius snowballed here. Primeval Titan. Get a couple lands. Well, I mean, if somehow we live another turn, which I would be surprised. But if somehow we live another turn, we can try to do the tooth and nail thing, which would be sweet. Like, we're going to have enough mana. All right, grab a couple lands, pass the turn. The problem is, so if they kill Primeval Titan, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we're dead. Bowmasters, that also... Well, if they kill Primeval Titan, we're still dead. Standard died when they got rid of 3-set blocks. Do you think that actually... I don't know. Do you think that actually had that big of an impact? Standard... Oh, okay. Yeah. That's... Well, we'll make them show that they're going to go for the throat, but... Yeah. Crucius, still busted. So why would 3-set blocks have such a big impact on Standard? I mean, so I guess one obvious way, I also miss 3-set blocks. Actually, I go back and forth. I miss 3-set blocks, but I also think we have a bit of rose-colored glasses when it comes to 3-set blocks. Like, yes, there are some big upsides. Yes, it's cool that themes can build on themselves. There are many things I really liked about it. At the same time, if you go back to 3-set blocks, there are some downsides too. Like, I definitely remember, what's a good example of this? If we go back to the 3-set block era, like, I was not a huge fan of Theros block. Like, Theros block, whatever, like, wasn't my jam. If the theme of the block is like something that you're kind of medium on, it does get old after a while. Like, I remember not being especially hyped for Journey into Nyx. Like, okay, sure, whatever. Dragon's Maze is actually kind of notorious for just being, like, a horrible set. Like, it was just a really bad set. Return to Ravnica was great. Gatecrash was great, but then they didn't really know what to do with the third set in that block. So I feel like that's something that happens on occasion, too, is, like, yes, there's a lot of upsides, but if you look at a lot of the third sets, Avacyn Restored, known as one of the worst limited sets of all time, Alara Reborn, a little forgettable. A lot of time, the third sets actually have a bit of an issue. So I don't know. I think it's probably still a positive overall, but when I first tried to play Magic semi-competitively, I started playing Magic around Ravnica, original OG Ravnica. I didn't really start playing competitively though for at least a couple of years after that. And that was mostly on Magic Online, most of my competitive-ishness. I'm aware of the new schedule, but I thought Seth was implying that they had said they had no plans to ban anything from Standard once this August rolled around. No, I think what I was trying to say, and maybe I misspoke, is from what I understand of the new banning schedule, Wizards is really hoping to only ban cards once a year. There's like an emergency window where if something goes way, I can't remember, what were their examples that they use? Like Copycat Combo or like Oko maybe? Like when something goes really wrong, there's an emergency window, 8 weeks after a set drops, where they can ban something. But their plan is to ban once a year. So the August 7th update, if things go to Wizards' plan, is that'll be the last bannings until next August 7th. So we get the August window, and then ideally there will not be any more bannings. We'll see how it plays out in practice, but that's Wizards' plan, is to try to ban only once a year, and then the emergency windows for when something goes super off the rails. Can't wait for Eldraine to return to the Alex. I mean, so Eldraine, the other thing, we gotta talk about this. I forgot the art. I think we can figure this out, because y'all are smarter than I am. After this game, remind me, we gotta, Mark Rosewater spoiled a bunch of art from upcoming sets, and I want to see what you think the sets are. We might be able to figure out where we're going based. Oh no, it's Angels. All right, that's fine. All we gotta do is have some fun. And I got a feeling I'm not the only one. Do we trade this? Probably not. I mean, all we gotta do is get to Tooth and Nail, right? If we get to Tooth and Nail, we got him. We got him. About it. There are up to 558 braids in your chat versus your single braid. Yeah, I mean, that's the power of crowd surfing. crowd surfing. Also, I don't know if any of you use Twitter. What is the deal with this X thing? Seriously. The bird is so cute. The bird is so cute and iconic. Every time I try to go to Twitter, because I use Twitter quite a bit, just for like Magic stuff. Every time I try to go to the Twitter tab now, I almost accidentally close out of it because it's an X. It's not even a pretty X. It's just like an X. That's what the crowd surfing Karn was doing. Crowdfunding Karn. All right, so we play Lotus Cobra. Step 1. We draw with the One Ring. Hit a couple lands. Overgrown Farmland. Make a mana. Explore for free. Play a land. Oh, we can't get to Primeval Titan, right? Let's play the land untapped. Make a mana. Courser of Krufix. Explore. Land tapped. Make a mana. Wait, do we have enough to do it next turn? Are we gonna get him? Okay, pass the turn. We actually got to do some counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Nykthos makes a bunch. Oh, I think we got him. I think we're going to see the power of Tooth and Nail, Legion Angel. That is acceptable. opponent. Gonna gain some life, gonna grow their dorks. Actually, not yet. Hits us down to 13. However, there's bad news for our opponent, which is we're gonna draw a bunch of One Ring cards. And we're gonna win the game, I think. I think we're gonna win. So Abriel Grazer. Put a World Tree into play. Make some mana, gain some life. Add green. Oh, this is the power. This is the power of Tooth and Nail. We're about to see the power of Tooth and Nail. Guild of Gwyn. Gain some life. Make some mana. Can we Primeval Titan too? I think we can. Oh my goodness, what a turn. What a turn. Primeval Titan. Here it comes. Yes, please. Grab 2 Fabled Passages. Ooh, Arena, chill. Make a little bit of mana, gain a little bit of life. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Entwine Tooth and Nail. Search for 2. Put them into play. Yes, please. All the mana in the world. Xenagos, World Spied Worm. Put them both into play. Does our opponent survive this is the question. Do they survive? Do they survive the World Spine? 30, 30, trampling, hasting, attacking, World Spied Worm. They got a double block, right? And they survive? Just barely? You gotta block Wigiata. You gotta block Wigiata. Put that 2-2 in front of their opponent. All right, so opponent does technically survive. Hey, Seth, I just started a new work from home job. I want to thank you for the amazing content. I love watching your videos. Hey, thank you, Elenister. Good luck with the new job. Could have attacked with everything. Yeah, but Tooth and Nail. Yeah, you're right. We should have attacked with we should have just attacked with everything. You are actually correct. I was so excited about the World Spine Worm and actually doing the Tooth and Nail thing for once. I didn't even attack with anything else. Opponent probably thought we were BMing there, honestly. Wasn't trying to. New player here, just wanted to let you know I had a blast playing with your green budget deck on Arena yesterday. Hey, awesome! Those are some of my favorite stories. The stories that make me happiest, some of them are when people like first start playing Magic and find the decks helpful. Those are some of my favorites. Hey, Seth, are you ever going to do an Against Odds style episode where you go to the world of Legacy, where you can run awesome jank like Land, Equilibrium, and Nether Void? I feel like we got to do more Legacy, although I also feel like Legacy is like the cheatiest format. Here's why. I think that on one hand, Legacy is like the best format for pulling off janky win cons. The problem is, to actually pull off the janky win cons, you just play all the good Legacy cards. I think the classic example... Oh, what's the horrible combo? Lethal Vapors. Lethal Vapors to Fairies Protection. You should look up, there's a video. Is it Bosch and Roll? It might be Bosch and Roll. But there's a video, it's really good. It's almost like a Legacy Against the Odds video. That's like, so Lethal Vapors, you can pay 0 to skip your next turn. The idea is, and anyone can do it. The idea is you Teferi's Pro. So you're phased out and can't lose. And then with it on the stack, you skip like an infinite number of like 1,000 turns or something. And then you just peace out and your opponent's eventually going to draw their deck and mill out. Combos like that, Legacy is like the best format to pull them off. You got all the tutors so you can find them. You have tons of card selection. You got tons of way to resolve them. The thing is, if you're going to build this deck, it's probably going to be Brainstorm, Force of Will, Ponder, Swords to Plowshare, like the typical Legacy staples. So you're going to play like 25 Legacy staples and then the 8 spicy cards. Oh no, I love Bosch and Roll's content. I think it was Bosch and Roll that did the video. I was actually trying to give whoever did the Lethal Vapors video a shout out because I actually really like that video and more people should watch it because it's really good. I don't remember if it was Bosch or not though. Maybe it was like Threeman Yu. I don't know. If anyone knows who did the Lethal Vapors combo video, shout them out because if you like Legacy jank, it's a very cool video to watch. It's like a Legacy Against Odds video essentially. Can your opponent skip 1,000 times too? Yeah, you usually need one more piece, like Grand Arbiter, to make it so your opponent can't do things during your turn. So it is kind of a three-piece combo. Do you know when the next BNR is? Next BNR is August 7th. So so next Monday is the 31st. The next Monday is the BNR. So Pro Tour this weekend, BNR the next Monday after that. What needs to be banned? That is a really good question. So from what Wizards said, their primary focus for this BNR will be older formats. Not that things can't change in Standard. They still could. But it sounded like they're, just from what they said during their live stream, that their primary focus was older formats. What needs to change? In Modern, I kind of feel like everything's just up in the air right now because of... All right, play this tapped. Make a green. I guess we play Knight of the Reliquary. That's probably best long term. I feel like everything is up in the air right now in Modern because we got to see how this Pro Tour shakes out. The One Ring and Bowmasters would probably be, those are the two most hyped new cards. Whether those cards are broken, problematic, or just like good additions to Modern, I think the Pro Tour is going to go a long way towards determining that. Hey Seth, Bro's Kitchen is one of the most entertaining videos on YouTube. Phil needs to work more. I mean, Phil already works full time. What makes Phil's videos so good and entertaining is he spends like 2 to 3 weeks of full-time work to make a single video. So I know people would love to see more Phil. The problem is Phil's process of making such good content is incredibly time consuming. So I don't know if it'll ever be possible to see significantly more Brewer's Kitchen videos just because of the amount of time it takes him to actually make a Brewer's Kitchen video. But I would love more Phil's videos as well. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe there will be a way to make it happen eventually, but as far as I know from having conversations with Phil, like that's the sticking point, is it's just really, really time consuming to make the content that Phil makes. Well, we're gonna sack a Snow-Covered Plains. We're gonna get a Fabled Passage. Get a Clue. Make a green mana. Play a Courser of Crufix. And 5, 6. We might be able to do it next turn if nothing dies. Come on, Tooth and Nail. Come on, Tooth and Nail. About it. Oh, there's a Tecatli Honor Guard. That doesn't actually change our game plan, really, but the One Ring does make our game plan a lot worse. Maybe we just Elish Norn them? That's a possibility. Maybe we just go for the Elish Norn plan. Opponent gonna get in and hit us. Sure. We will take it. Yeah, Knight was actually pretty good here. I mean, Knight untapping with it with landfall stuff is actually still pretty strong. Okay, so Snow-Covered Forest. Get a Clue. Make some mana. The question is, do we even go for it? Like, I think we can Tooth and Nail here, but do we even Tooth and Nail with the One Ring out, or is it just unnecessary? Like, is there even a point since we can't actually damage our opponent? Snow-Covered Forest. Clue. Mana. Phil's content is amazing. Feels like going to a fancy restaurant. You can't go too often, but oh boy, when you do, it's good. Yeah, I think that's a good way of thinking of Phil's content. Think of it as like every couple of weeks you get a really sweet treat of a Phil video. I've mentioned to Phil before. I've been like, what do you think about doing like a unscripted, unedited series? Like, are you interested in that at all? Just like, because he plays a lot of historic Brawl. So it's like, what if you just like, no editing, no scripting, just like sit down at your computer and play historic Brawl for a couple of hours and we'll chop it down into a video. But Phil, I think for Phil, his content the editing is his content. Like that's kind of Phil's signature. So he's not really super interested in not doing that kind of content, I don't think. Like, I think Phil wants it to have all the memes, be super edited, super high production. So I don't think he's actually super interested in, like, I'll just sit down and, like, play some Historic Brawl or whatever. Like, I guess in some ways well, the thing is, the tank doesn't do anything because of this Tecatli Honor Guard, which is legitimately making us super sad. We'll just get another Fabled Passage. Yeah, I guess this thing of the Reliquary is kind of going off. Fabled Passage. I kind of want to get the Elishnorn. I feel like the Elishnorn's really good. I think that's probably worth it. Make some mana. So it's 3, so we can sack this. Shuffle away the Fabled Passage. Opponent. I'm really hoping that Card Market can sucker Phil to come on the show. I know it's not his style, but it'd be really sweet. I bet it happens eventually. Card Market, I learned recently doing the crossover thing with Card Market that they're from Germany, so they're like actually right next to Phil. So it seems like it would actually be pretty easy for them to do something with Phil eventually. So I bet there will eventually be some sort of Phil crossover. All right, Tooth and Nail. Elishnorn. Do we still take... Well, let's just go Elishnorn Xenagos. That seems good. Elishnorn Xenagos. Play the Delighted Halfling. I mean, can you beat it, Angels? Can you beat it? The One Ring will not save you forever. Bellygar in welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Big scoops here for you. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go lazy mode. Crack this clue. And all right, opponent, do your worst. Do your worst. Oh, so question, Jet, would you... So let's say I actually did do the Pro Tour co-streaming thing. Would that be something you'd be interested in watching, or would you just watch the normal Pro Tour coverage? I will not be offended. I will not be offended either way. Opponent, Plains. Yeah, I mean, that is part of the power of the ring, right? If you can keep chaining together the One Ring for several turns, the One Ring can keep you alive. Do you think... I'm coming around to the idea that we could use more complex rules about how many cards you can play in a deck. Like, I actually think if they can make Nazguls and say you can play 9 of these in a deck, if they could play make Persistent Petitioners, Relentless Rats, so you can play any number in the deck, is there any reason they couldn't make the One Ring and have its text actually just say your deck can only play 1 of these? Wouldn't that work? Shouldn't they do that in some cases? I'm not talking about all the time. Like, we don't get Relentless Rats, Persistent Petitioner style cards all the time. But couldn't we in cases where the flavor was like on point and the power level was on point, couldn't we go the other direction? We have the like rule breaking to play more. Couldn't we have the rule breaking that makes you play less? I hope they experiment more with that at some point. Because people actually kind of love Nazguls and Relentless Rats and stuff, so... I made a restriction keyboard and custom set. Why not? Yeah, seems like it could work, right? Okay, we gotta look at this. We gotta look at this art. All right, chat. So. Mark Rosewater did a San Diego Comic-Con panel, and he had some teasers. And the teasers are just art from upcoming sets. Upcoming sets are products, so we don't really know anything beyond. Well, I guess that doesn't work any better, does it? We don't really know anything beyond that. So art piece number 1, this has to be Eldraine, right? That's like Gilded Goose Returns or something. It's got to be an Eldraine card. To me, this seems very, very Eldraine. It's like a Hydra Goose. So I expect that we'll see a spoiler honk for this in Eldraine. So I think this is Eldraine. That one's easy. This one. This makes me think very heavily of Halloween. Like, Is there possibly a unannounced Halloween set, like, or a Halloween theme set, or something? It's Old Rustine? Is it really? I mean, I guess the carriage with the zombies is very Innistradian. I guess it looks Innistrad-y. There's no way we're going back to Innistrad already, though, right? That's not. Ooh, young Rustine. Wait, is it really Old Rustine? Now I gotta look this up. Is that actually referencing? Oh, actually, he doesn't look that old there. But wait, he's supposed to be old. What do they think? Like 30s old? The guy does not actually look that old. He looks like he's like 35 or something. Okay, I could see that. I could see them being the same character. You got a little bit of the like scruffy beard thing. The scar. The angle makes it kind of hard to see. Okay, maybe it actually is Old Rustine. Old Rustine in a hat. I think you've won me over to that argument. Next up, I mean, this is Ixalan. It's got to be. I feel like this was the box art for like Explorers of Ixalan, which was like a board game or something. But I don't know that. This looks very, very, very familiar to me. As soon as I saw this, like it's very clearly Ixalan. But I had the deja vu that like this existed somewhere before and I'd seen it before. Wait, Ikoria? No, isn't this definitely an Ixalan vampire dude? It's gotta be a conquistador. It's a conquistador. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Ooh, yeah. Actually, that would be a good possible reprint. This one, I have no idea what's going on here. So this is like a skeleton face with a Hydra arm and a dragon flying by. Like what? To me, this and this seem to go together. Like, so I would guess this has to be Eldraine. This maybe Old Rustine. This I think is Ixalan. This to me, the color schemes look a little similar to this. Maybe it's just the orange that's thrown me off, but Halloween set, Halloween secret lair drop or something. I hope we go back to Alara. I do like Alara. Then we got this thing. This to me looks Lorwyn-ish. To me, this looks like Lorwyn, like a Lorwyn elf, maybe. I would not be surprised if we go back to Lorwyn. Like, after we returned to Kamigawa and it was actually successful, I think our odds of returning to Lorwyn went up significantly. Because that's another plane that everyone keeps asking for, but it didn't go very good the first time around. I think that seeing the success of Kamigawa might actually make Wizards do it. I'm going to guess some sort of Lorwyn comeback. This one is like, I don't know. Game of Thrones crossover, some dragon. You know they're gonna try to get on the Game of Thrones hype like a few years too late. I'm surprised we haven't got the Game of Thrones secret lair drop yet. I guess Theros. Aren't these dragons though? Is it just a Hydra? Maybe it's a Hydra, not dragons. Are we really going back to Theros? I feel like we've been to Theros a lot of times recently. Do you even want to go back to Theros? I don't even know if I want to go back to Theros. First Theros, I was kind of meh about, and then second Theros was kind of busted. There have been a lot of Hydras in this art, hasn't there? This looks like Lord of the Rings. One thing I'm wondering, we know there's the holiday release of Lord of the Rings, the re-release. It makes me wonder if there's new cards in that set. Wizards has not said much about it. We accidentally got to see one of the card styles that they spoiled accidentally. Vanex, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. So I think at a minimum, it's Lord of the Rings. Whether it's a new Lord of the Rings card or this is new art from a card we've already seen, that I'm not sure about, but definitely Lord of the Rings. And then last but not least, there's got to be Eldraine, right? What is that's our fairy tale fantasy world. I don't know is there some like nursery rhyme about a mouse versus a flaming wolf or something? Is that It's got to be Eldraine, but I don't know this actual story. I actually really like the flavor of Eldraine. Eldraine was busted as all get out, but the actual flavor, do you remember the Eldraine was like, it was a really impactful set. It was the first time I really felt like Wizards started to like really care like a lot of other games did, if that makes sense. The power level was busted, way too good. But do you remember when they first released the trailer? It was so like, this trailer was groundbreaking. Like, if you go back and look at Magic trailers from before this, they're so incredibly bad. Like, they're all just horrible. They're horrible. It seemed like, I don't even know, like, just like they didn't really care. They weren't really trying. And then they put out this Eldraine trailer, and it was actually like kind of funny and touching, and the art was actually like really good. And I think that it deserves more credit than it gets for like being an actual really important moment in the development of modern Magic. Hasn't been a good trailer since. The War of the Spark one wasn't bad, right? I think Eldraine is the best. Like, if I was going to do a Magic trailer tier list, I think Eldraine is S tier by far. Like, I think it would be number 1 on my list. But I do think War of the Spark was good. Kaldheim was fine. It's kind of come back down, right? We got like super good trailers for a minute, but it's kind of like faded a bit. Vampire Innistrad. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I guess the overall quality has improved quite a bit, hasn't it? I still think nothing has topped. Oh, yes, the life gain deck. It's our friend, the life gain deck. Oh, all right, opponent. Would you like to play a Soul Warden and gain some life? What is everyone on Angels? What is up with Angels everywhere today? Delighted Halfling, Snow-Covered Forest, Boreal Blazer. Put the Fabled Passage into play and pass the turn. I mean, we got Reachy blockers for days. About it. So do you think Oko will return? It's kind of has to, right? Not the same, not the band Oko, but they got to make a new Oko. Oko's probably going to be horrible, right? It's going to be, I bet it's going to be like a Karn or like an Ugin. Like, I bet it'll be powerful, but it's going to be like 7 mana or something absurd. Like, really high end, super expensive. Not many decks can play it. Just straight up yeah, it'd be safe now, right? With the last 3 years of power creep, maybe Oko would be fine. What? I don't get, why is everyone freaking out about this Oko card? What do you think about a new Oko that transforms into an elk creature, like how Gideon turns into a creature? Oh my god. Well, I was going to play the One Ring, but actually, do we still play the One Ring? Maybe we still play the One Ring. Is drawing cards better than playing it? We got to play Primeval Titan. I mean, how do you get a chance to slam a Primeval Titan and say no? Primeval Titan, turn 3-ish. We will take the World Tree, not that it really does much, and actually we don't even want the World Tree. On second thought, we will take a Nykthos, and we will take a Arch of Araska. And all right, opponent, your go, Angels, your go. There's a French fairy tale about a mouse called Desperax. I wish I could speak French. French is like such a cool sounding language. And one called the Good Mouse. Oh, maybe that's what that art's referencing. Yeah, I think a Simic Planeswalker that turned into a creature like that would be kind of neat. We have lots of Simic Planeswalkers that make creatures, but I don't think we've ever had a Simic Planeswalker that turns into a creature. So it'd be pretty cool to have a Simic Planeswalker that did that. All right, opponent is going off. We draw Explore. That's a 7/7? Golly. Okay. Temple Garden, not ideal. Well, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if we win if we do find Tooth and Nail. Well, I guess we'll be able to find out. Okay. Wait, do we Tooth and Nail and still lose? I think we Tooth and Nail and lose. I don't know. I don't think it's Tooth and Nail actually win. I mean, we don't lose this turn, but like, I don't think our Tooth and Nail's lethal. And our opponent's just going to keep making these ridiculously huge things. Yeah, this makes a 4/4. The gain's 4. That puts a counter on that to make it a 7/7. Those are some big angels. How do we possibly get out of this? And they make it... What is going on? How are they gaining so much? Oh, the cleric class is doing it. I was wondering, how do they get 5 life out of these gain 4 effects? But, okay, so... I mean, I guess it starts with us drawing another 1 ring. That's step 1 to not being dead. That's not a 1 ring. Yeah, Tooth and Nail just doesn't... Wow. Maybe Tooth and Nail's bad. Our opponent has just totally undone our Tooth and Nail with a few random angels. 3... That's an embarrassment. What an embarrassment to Tooth and Nail. Our opponent played a 2-drop and we can't beat it. Hey, new players, started with the Brothers War. Is there physical cards that aren't on Arena? There are, Stitchbox. There are many, many, many physical cards that aren't on Arena. Arena has roughly the last, 5 years of cards? And it doesn't even exactly have all of them. It gets all the standard cards, but there's also cards that are printed just for like Commander and other formats. So it has most of the cards from the last 5 years, but there's 30 years of Magic cards altogether. And at this point, most of them, I wonder what percent of cards are on Arena. Maybe like 20? Maybe 20% of cards are on Arena and the 80% are. So yeah, there's a ton more older cards that aren't on Arena. Yeah, we don't actually have wipes. So I guess we just got to be faster. I mean, it's not like we're really going to do the control thing. We can bring in the Elish Norn again. That's actually kind of concerning because that felt like a pretty good draw. We had double Arboreal Grazer into Primeval Titan, and it just did not matter. Not even a little. It just didn't matter at all. Yeah, that's just comforting. What about Inferno Titan this deck? More like a toolbox of creatures. Yeah, it could definitely be a possibility. I think the mana base would have to probably be updated a little bit, but that's fine. All right, we have everything. We got some ramp. We got a 1 ring. We got a Tooth and Nail. But does any of that actually beat angels? Good old Taniwa. There are a lot of really goofy old cards that aren't on Arena. Oh, so back to that survey chat. What would you pick if your options are Wizards comes to you and you're like, hey, we can do one of these things for you. We can work on adding multiplayer Commander, or we can work on adding actual Pioneer or actual Modern. Basically, you get to pick a format. And Wizards will work at adding it to Arena. Which format would you choose for yourself personally? Modern? I would probably pick Modern. Honestly, I would pick like Vintage, because if they added Vintage, Modern would end up on there by default, and I could play Vintage if I wanted to. So actually, that's pretty cheaty, but I think overall, I wonder, do you think Commander would thrive on Arena? I actually am not sure. I'm actually not sure if it would. That might sound weird because Commander is so big right now. You pick Vintage, Jesse? Yeah. Legacy would be super fun. 26.84. All right, I guess my 20% guess was actually not that far off then. I actually wonder if Commander would be all that successful in Arena, just because I feel like a large part of the appeal of Commander is the social aspect. And I feel like you will not be getting the social aspect on Arena regardless. Like, you can't. There's no chat, there's no way to interact with anyone. So you're never gonna have that experience on Arena. So I actually wonder if the idea of adding Commander to Arena is a little bit overrated. I mean, I think it would be sweet, and I think people would get use out of it, but I wonder if it would be less successful than we think, just because so much of Commander is about, like, having a good time with your pals. Yeah, Arena's just not a social client, and Commander is a very social format. Arena is intentionally not a social client. Like, they don't want chat on Arena. They don't want to have to deal with the downsides of that. Ooh, can we tooth and nail? Is it possible? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we can. Okay, opponent. We can tooth and nail, and I think we can even pay for a mana tithe just in case. Well, opponent, you got us last time. This time, I think the Angels are going to be fast enough. Make some mana, do a little Nykthos thing, and we will tooth and nail, and we will entwine a tooth and nail. And, GG? Would you like to mana tithe us? Wait, do you really have mana tithe? I was joking. We can pay for one, but I was joking. I didn't think they actually have it. Opponent. We actually have a CDH game coming up for Commander Clash. Cannot beat 2 mana tithes. No one's ever beat 2 mana tithes. That's not possible. We have another tooth and nail. Getting double Primeval Titan's actually the funniest. That actually, you know what? I think that's actually correct. It does mean we're not winning this turn, but we have another tooth and nail in hand. So we don't really have to try to win. If we go for the combo kill and they have a removal spell, it doesn't work anyway. So we might as well just get all the lands out of our deck and set up to win next turn. Watch us end up dying because of that. That would be the worst. All right, Fabled Passage, trigger. Add a green. And yeah, pass the turn. All right, don't kill us somehow. That would be very sad. No attacks. You're go about it. Or reprieve would be. Yeah, that actually would be realistic. More realistic than Mana Tithe, probably. Is Triskelion Helio combo not on Arena? No Triskelion on Arena. About it. I'm going to get in. All right. I think we need to put an end to this. The opponent hits us for 8. I guess we could have blocked with Grazers. Probably should have. I don't think it actually really matters. Opponent gonna make a dork. Goes up to 36. Actually, does it matter? Is there a chance we lose? Well, 1 ring, draw a ton of cards. Okay. Well, Delighted Halfling for free. We do win, right? Is it possible we don't win? Oh no, if we don't win this, I'm gonna be so disappointed. Lotus Cobra. What is our Nykthos up to? 10? 1, 2, 3. Tireless Tracker. Crack the Fabled Passage. Get a forest. Trigger. Green. Crack the Fabled Passage. Can we actually deal 36? Yeah, we don't have a Crater Hoof. We can get Elish Norn. We can get Elish Norn Worldspine Worm plus our board. I mean, if we don't win here, we do die to the ring, which is not good. Explore is free. Oh, okay. Well, make a mana. Make a mana. Play Xenagos. Nykthos. Tooth and Nail. Double Trouble. I mean, this is a big turn. Is it a game-ending turn? World Spine Worm. Another Primeval Titan. Put a... So we have 3 mana. 4 mana. 5, 6, 7, 8. So put Primeval Titan, World Spine Worm into play. Primeval Titan. Gonna grab a couple lands. Those will trigger our Lotus Cobras. Make a bunch of clues, make a bunch of mana. Yeah, maybe a hoof would be worth it in this deck. It would be good, right? It would be great right here. Elish Norn. Well, that's what we got. That's what we got. Go to combat. Actually, yeah, go to combat. Target World Spine. Swing. Get some triggers. Oh, opponent didn't even want to do that. Opponent didn't even want to do the math. I don't know if we would have survived that or not, honestly. I don't believe Kessig Wolf Run is on Arena. Are they? Yeah, I guess we had a pretty big board, so I guess they were probably actually just dead. Handler Bailments, that just gives haste, right? So it doesn't exactly do... Yeah, no Avenger. You know what card I want in Arena? I was just thinking about this today. I woke up this morning and my first thought was, you know what? They really need to add Death Cloud to Arena. And I was thinking about, you know what I want is like historic anthology teaching Arena Zoomers about, and then a bunch of miserable cards like Death Cloud, Stasis, maybe an Armageddon, a Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, Smokestack, Smallpox. That's what I want. That's how I view the future of Arena. Moat, yes, yeah. Yes, Arena Zoomers could learn a little bit about moat. Balance is a hilariously overpowered card. Tangle Wire. See, I don't really have a big attachment to Tangle Wire, but if Jim likes it, I will support that. It is kind of an annoying stacks piece, so I can get behind it. Although I kind of think it's overrated. It's probably Jim's like Blood Moon, I would guess, like a nostalgic thing you remember from a long time ago. But I don't know if Tangle Wire is actually that good anymore. I feel like every time I try Tangle Wire in like Vintage Cube, it just flops. Ooh, Cloud Post, Tron. We can, if you add Blood Moon in Armageddon, we can add Tron lands. Oh, does he? Does it work for him? I don't want to say never, but I feel like I rarely actually make Tangle Wire work the way I wanted to in Cube Draft. Do we want to change anything else? Touch the Spirit Realm could be okay. All right, let's try it like that. Tangle Wire good with Magda. Ooh. Oh yeah, that actually is pretty cute, isn't it? About it. All right, Angels. Well, I mean, this could get us to a relatively fast Primeval Titan. Ooh. We're gonna need some white mana for this Knight of the Reliquary. Well, put our World Tree into play. Ooh, Counterbalance. That'd be another good one. Yada. Still no white mana. Well, Explore. Put a land into play. Explore. Oh, not great. Not great. We're fizzling. Matty Matson, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you for your subscription. Big super review. Hey man with a fabulous beard. Hope you have a great day. Care to share the secret to the amazing beard? I mean, the short version is just don't cut it, but I actually do. I do some combing, some beard oil on occasion, some beard wax on occasion. I honestly probably comb my beard more than I comb my hair, come to think of it. Oh no. Oh, this is not looking good. Yeah, we are just running out of lands. Running out of lands, and no white mana for Knight of the Reliquary. Well, okay. Fabled Passage, crack Fabled Passage. Ooh, do we know the Reliquary? Do we touch the Spirit Realm? We definitely gotta get a Plains. I think we got a Knight. I think we gotta play the Knight. Play the Grazer as a blocker. Pass the turn. We got nothing to put into play. The Knight can get us an untapped land to put the Primeval Titan into play next turn, assuming we're alive and our Knight's alive. Oh, I love Worldfire. Wildfire too. Wildfire might be of a power level that they would actually put on Arena. It's close enough to being land destruction that I could get behind it. What does this mode do? Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Cleric class does not seem that good. It did kind of spank us in game 1 though. All right, we're gonna jump. Oh, Jackalobs. Or just Apocalypse. Apocalypse is maybe the most hilarious of the mass land destruction. Stomping grounds. Well, in that case, we do need to not die. We definitely need a Primeval Titan. All right, untap land. Primeval Titan. Find us some goodies. Do they have any relevant lands? We can't blow that up. Faceless Haven doesn't matter. All right, let's go Lair and Arch. And Lair and Arch. And pass the turn. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got the mana if we can find it. If we find it, we got the mana. Opponent. Forsaken Crossroads. And? Oh, do you actually get away with playing Jackalhops, DW? Those are the cards in Commander I always feel so guilty about. Although I do kind of wonder, it's never going to happen, but I do wonder if Commander would be a better format if we were allowed to play more land destruction. Like, green is very overpowered in Commander. It seems like Armageddon's would be a way to even the playing field, but no one enjoys playing, not many people enjoy playing a game of Commander after Armageddon happens. Ooh, Caracas. Caracas could be a sweet addition. Well, do we? Yeah, let's sack a snow-covered forest. Got to keep thinning the deck and grow the Knight of the Reliquary. Grab a Fabled Passage. Untap. Explore. Well, explore. Tireless Tracker. Go to combat. Get in with Primeval Titan. What does our opponent have? They might... I kind of feel like they have Settle the Wreckage in hand. They might actually have Settle the Wreckage. Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage. Trigger. Trigger. Opponent. Down to 14. Pass the turn. We get to draw a bunch of cards with these clues to try to find the tooth and nail, to put the angels out of their misery. Can we find it? Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be close. Roughly 25% of people like to continue playing each after land ripe, usually the one casting it. Yeah, even the one casting, yeah, I guess if you're the one casting it, it's, most of the time it's good. Even then, I do know when I first started playing Commander, I was that guy. Go back to the early seasons of Commander Clash. I'm pretty sure you can find episodes where I, like, with no board state, would just fire off mass land destruction and laugh maniacally. Just because I could and I thought it was funny. The Frozen Cell. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank ya. Blue Farm is super cool. Oh yeah, Blue Farm is super cool. Well, all right, well, block with the Grazer. Oh, we gotta be able to find this, right? We gotta. So Knight of the Reliquary. Sack of Stomping Grounds. Get a Field of Ruin. Make a clue. Crack the Fabled Passage. Yeah, we haven't found a one ring this game either, have we? Get a clue. And now we're going to crack some clues and see if we can find Tooth and Nail to actually close out this game. I'm surprised I haven't added a rag to Arena. People like discard decks too. Discard is like a, as much as some people complain about it, it is like a classic casual archetype. So I'm surprised they haven't added it. It's not quite life gain. Casual players love their life gain decks, but it is fairly popular. Question: after the 100th Commander Clash podcast, I wondered which one was the Command Clash where everyone else was missing? Do you remember which year it was? Oh, with the Seinfeld with the Seinfeld reference. Oh, okay, that's Tooth and Nail. I actually don't remember. I will try to figure it out, though. I'll try to figure it out and let you know. I don't remember. Does anyone else remember? There was a Commander Clash where Tomer did a Seinfeld bit where he, like, called everyone and got their answering machine because no one could be there. I can't remember what season that was, though. Oh, so chat. Seinfeld overrated? Is Seinfeld overrated? Actually, do any of you even know who Seinfeld is? That's number one. Is Seinfeld a known thing? Or is that like when we had the stream and I said something about like Smashing Pumpkins and like everyone was like, who? I was like, oh God, I must be old. It's properly rated? I mean, how is it rated? Is like, so like, honestly, okay. I don't think Seinfeld is bad. However, I do enjoy Curb Your Enthusiasm more. Like if I was on a desert island and I could only pick one show to watch for the rest of my life, it would definitely be Curb over Seinfeld. Is that a absurd statement? Or is that just fact? But personally, I would definitely go with Curb over Seinfeld. I think Curb's just funnier. All right, Tooth and Nail. We will take Xenagos. We will take World Spine Worm. We will put them into play. We will go to combat. Do you have removal, opponent? Let's haste up the World Spine Worm. And here comes the dorks. Actually, we'll leave Knight back. GG's? GG's for whose? Are we getting settled? I never know. Is this the GG I'm scooping or the GG I'm gonna get you? Make some clues, make some clues. I mean, this deck's kind of been working. We have played Angels twice in a row, but the deck's actually kind of working. How does the deck recover if our worm is killed? I mean, if our worm's killed, we try to win with a bunch of Primeval Titans or Tireless Trackers. But ideally, it doesn't get killed. So the good news about Worldspine Worm, is there actually any good show with a laugh track? Maybe that's the main reason that I like Curb over Seinfeld is I cannot stand laugh tracks. Curb is great if like consistent bickering and improv instead of bare minimum of writing. I just think Larry David's very funny. Like I think in that show, I think he's super funny. Seinfeld's the only one. What's the... Oh yeah, both Jerry and Larry David made, I forget what they said. It's kind of funny because they have all this. So the thing about Worldspine Worm, before we get into TV stuff, thing about Worldspine Worm, if it dies, we get 3 5/5s with trample. So even it getting killed isn't the end of the world. Getting exiled is rougher because then we don't get the worm tokens. But that's why this is kind of the go-to finisher. Even if it dies, we should have lethal again the next turn, hopefully. It's kind of funny to see just how much like TV has changed, because I've been hearing a little bit about like the writer's strike and the actor's strike, and one of the big issues is like residuals, where you keep getting the money from your show or whatever when it goes in reruns, and there's people talking about how they get, because streaming apparently the residuals are just horrible with how the setup is, that people are getting like cents, like literally some amount of cents, $20 a year or something in residuals for like pretty big shows like Orange is the New Black and like stuff that was actually pretty big in streaming. And then you have like Seinfeld and Larry David. I'm pretty sure if you look it up, I can't remember what the number is, but it was like $600 million or something they've made off of their like residuals because of how they had their deal set up. So they essentially became almost just billionaires for doing like, well, not for doing nothing. They had to make the show and the show was really popular, but the residuals are not part of like the money you made to make the show. This is just like the rerun money that you keep getting. Yeah, it's like the number, I think combined it's definitely over $1 billion. I think it might have been $1 billion, but it was like somehow split between the two of them, so it ended up being like 600 million each or something. But it's, yeah. And Reservation Dogs getting exactly like, and then you hear the streamers, Orange is the New Black, Reservation Dogs, that are making like almost zero money off of it. Yeah, I don't know. That it's really weird. So I do wonder, and I'm so much not an expert on this that I guess maybe you shouldn't even talk about it. I do wonder though, like the one thing I can see, I definitely would like to see the talent get better residuals. However, the one thing I can see is like, I think the residuals for TV are partly driven by like the old model of TV was like you make a show and then you sell that show to other channels or sell that show to the streamers and they give you more money for it. If you make a show for like Netflix or whatever, it's just like on Netflix forever, right? Like it doesn't ever like go on TV, it doesn't ever go on Hulu, like it just kind of, it's almost like making a YouTube video. If you make a YouTube video, like that's really cool, but it's just on YouTube forever and it kind of is what it is for the rest of time. So I do wonder like how do you figure that out? Like the model, basically the world has really changed. The whole structure and model of like how we consume content. Like look at us right now. We're hanging out watching a Twitch stream where I'm just like in my office playing Magic. You're not, you know, that's the world is just so much different than it was 30 years ago. So I hope they can figure out some sort of structure that actually can compensate the actors and writers fairly for all the work they put into it, because it seems like it's not like it's not working with the current structure. It seems like they're trying to pay people like it was 1980, even though people consume media like it's 2020. The world is changing, but corporates, I mean, the government's always so far behind technology. Like it's, I run into that all the time with copyright. Like it's mind blowing to me that our copyright laws are like mostly structured for pre-internet. And even when the internet does like come in, it's like Napster era, like 2000 internet, like our copyright laws don't consider how people use media and like consume media these days. One thing I'll say about this deck is when it misses its land drops, it's a lot worse. I guess that's probably obvious, but when we don't draw our lands, it goes a lot worse. I don't think we're going to be fast enough to race Mono Green Devotion here with Nykthos on 6 already. Opponent. Are the people in the production staff meant to get residuals too? See, this is where it kind of goes over my head. Like, I honestly don't know. I don't know if production staff does or doesn't, or has ever, or does now and doesn't anymore. I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. Geez, Storm the Festival. Yeah, things are looking bad. Opponent, Silverback Elder, and draws 2 cards, and Plukranos. You know, our opponent's just kind of... So this is the thing about Tooth and Nail. I think when it comes down to it, as we've seen, the deck kind of works. It kind of does its thing. But at its heart, from a competitive perspective, it's probably just Mono Green Devotion, but worse. Like, we're trying to ramp with a bunch of green cards, but Mono Green Devotion is just like so tuned and streamlined at this point that I'm not sure that Tooth and Nail is actually kind of in the same league as Mono Green if you're trying to ramp into big things in Historic. Like, I think that's kind of the issue from a more of a tournament perspective. Doesn't matter for our perspective, because it's super fun to win with Tooth and Nail. Like, it's just such a cool old card. Really, going after our clue? Well, we will sack it. But, like, our opponent has such a big board here, even if we did, and we aren't. But even if we did luck into... Even if our opponent did this with 3 lands... If there's ever been a testament to Nykthos being an absolutely busted Magic card... 3 lands, and our opponent has done all of this. Well, we have eventually hit a land drop. Boom, explore. How about that? Into an Arboreal Grazer. I mean, we're so dead. We're so dead. Should Mono Green not run Prime Time? I just don't know if they need it. Like, I think they could, and I think it would fit the theme of the deck and probably be pretty good in the deck. The Mono Green Devotion deck's just, it's been played so heavily for so long that I feel like it's actually just a really, really tight list at this point. Doesn't get hit by Festival. And Mono Green Devotion is honestly just so fast. Like, I don't know. Like, Cavalier, is Cavalier just a better Primeval Titan? I think in Mono Green Devotion, Cavalier of Thorns is just a better version. Like, I know Primeval Titan's bigger, it gets 2 lands, but the fact that Cavalier puts a land into play untapped is really, really big with Nykthos shenanigans. So I think that that's what it would be competing with, and I think that, in Mono Green in specific, I think Cavalier just beats it out. I really didn't make a good sideboard. I will say, Jim, the decks worked, like, reasonably well. I think we're 2-1 right now. So that's a fine record. And don't feel bad about not having a good sideboard against Mono Green, because I feel like no matter what I play or what deck I build, I just lose to Mono Green. Speaking of, someone asked about bannings earlier. I think for me, Nykthos is still on my watch list. I think Pioneer's kind of flown under the radar lately a little bit with, like, a Modern Pro Tour coming up. Lord of the Rings not going into Pioneer. Ugh. But I think that Nykthos in Pioneer might still be a card to keep on the watch list. Let's just play Rockfall. Like, Mono Green's back to being the most played deck in Pioneer. Yeah, we saw it on camera last tournament, just like, even though it didn't win, it just gets off to these unbeatable, degenerate, like, high rolly starts. I don't know. What do you think about just banning Nykthos? I've always been in the ban Karn first camp just because I like Nykthos and mono red and mono black. But at this point, like, I would like to see action taken. I don't know. What do you think about Pioneer? What's on your Pioneer list? Is there anything you want to see banned in Pioneer, or no changes? No changes in Pioneer. That is true. Karn never does anything enjoyable. I mean, I would argue that most of the War of the Spark Planeswalkers probably should not actually exist as cards. Well, we can nug Kiora for a little bit. Oh, this is so awkward. Yeah, I guess we just passed. How many lands is this deck playing? I wonder if it wants more lands. It seems so land hungry. Like, cards like Razor just want so many lands. No changes. Unban 3. No. Unban 3 fairy. Unban 3 fairy. I don't think we want to be unbanning 3 fairy. Do you think they could say you can't play Nykthos and Snow-Covered Forest in the same deck? I mean, they could. What would that matter? Oh, I see. Forest and Snow-Covered Forest. So basically ban Nykthos from being played in mono green. They could, but I don't think they ever will. I don't think we'll ever see Wizards do that. I think Wizards views that as just like too complicated. Personally, I don't really agree. I don't think that it should be considered too complicated, but I don't know if I would like that in any way. Like, one thing I've learned doing Magic for a long time is Wizards can't really manage the formats perfectly either, as much as we might like them to, or think that they could. There's a lot of hit and miss, and I don't know if I want Wizards to have the power or responsibility to be like, this specific deck can't play a card. Like, that just seems too micromanagey to me to really be enjoyable. I do think, like, I've come around a little bit on the possibility of trying restrictions. I still worry that it's going to be really frustrating. Like, when you know your opponent only has one of a card and they hit it and go off with it, it feels bad. I really, really, really would like to try playsets being 3-ofs instead of 4-ofs. I think that would be very interesting, and I think that might have a positive... no Nykthos, please. Well, no Nykthos, so we're not dead now. Soon, very soon, but not exactly now. I would like to see that. Oh, I mentioned this on Twitter earlier. I'm curious your thoughts, though, chat. Play the land. Add white. Draw with the One Ring. So if we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so play Grazer. Put a Fabled Passage into play. Make white. Elish Norn. Attack, attack, attack. Unclear if this will actually be enough, but we got an Elish Norn down. Everything going at the Kiora. One way or another, this is going to cut into our opponent's mana, because they're not going to be able to keep all their green mana symbols and keep Kiora. All right, Kiora down. Well, all right, let's see how bad this is. Does our opponent go infinite? So here's a question I had, chat. If you're a commander player, what do you think of a rule where tapped... oh, dear. Where tapped... Karn, speak of the card. Where tapped dual lands come into play untapped as a house rule. What if a play set would be 5 cards? See, I think that's going the wrong way, because then you'd see the most broken cards even more often. The idea with making the play sets less would be your Karn or your Nykthos or your Crucius or your Ragavan would have a little bit of a less of an impact. I'm inspired by how bad the mana bases of the most recent precons are. It made me think, what if instead of like, so obviously it would be awesome if Wizards just put better lands in the precons, but what if to get around Wizards' lack of ability or desire to put good lands in precons, what if you just made a house rule that was like, hey, if you're playing all these tap like game lands and guild gates, they just come into play untapped. They just come into play untapped. So now your mana base that's full of 10-cent lands would actually function like a good mana base. So what would the downside be of that house rule? I mean, so there are like, I think the biggest problem would be like bounce lands. Bounce lands I think would be kind of busted. All right, crack this. Can we win? Crack this, get a, doesn't really matter, how about a plains, trigger, add mana. Wait, do we not have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we really don't have enough. Oh no, we're definitely not surviving another turn. That is really bad. Really bad. All right. Well, since we can't win, we can't draw off the ring because the Karn is ridiculous. Karn will not let us activate our artifacts, unfortunately, which sadly includes our ring. Well, grab a couple lands. Yeah, opponent says good game because they're gonna go infinite, apparently. Yeah. Not a big fan of Karn. Not a big fan of Karn at all. Yeah, all right. We will pass the turn and die. 2 Karn. Opponent should switch chat to the other side. Oh, you're right. Why is chat on that side? It's supposed to be on the other side. There we go. Good call, Lucid. How are you, Lucid, by the way? Wouldn't Damping Sphere be good against Mono Green Devotion? It is. Like, it's helpful against Nykthos in specific. The thing about Mono Green Devotion is, like, an opponent, use it. See, this is the thing about Karn. I'm glad this showed up, because when we were just talking about banning Karn, this is like a really watered down Arena example of it, but just this game shows why Karn is so absurd. Like, so Karn was, oh no, my board is locked under an Elishnorn. It is a removal spell. And then it's like, oh, well, I got rid of the Elishnorn. I guess I should try to win the game because I'm probably going to die next turn. And then Karn is a finisher. It's a finisher, it's a removal spell, it's a graveyard hate spell, it's a land destruction spell, it's a combo finisher. Like, you name a thing and Karn is it. It is all of that and more, twice for 4 mana, while also locking down your opponent's 1 rings or treasures. Like, the flexibility is over the top. Hey, what's up, Mr. Zakara? How are things over in Ukraine? I think our opponent's having the time of their life over there. But Mono Green's a deck that can win without Nykthos. So Damping Sphere, while Nykthos lets our opponent have these like over the top turns, I mean, we're super dead, right? I'm pretty sure we're super dead. While Nykthos lets the deck have these over the top turns, the deck can still just like Mana Dork into 4/4 for 3, into Pelucranos, become a 6/6 lifelinker, into Cavalier of Thorns, a 5/6 for 5. Like, every one of their cards is an above the curve threat on its own. Like, yes, Nykthos lets it have this huge combo finish combo turn, but it can just win without Nykthos, to the point where, like, do you even bring in Damping Sphere against it? I don't even necessarily bring in, like, sometimes I bring in Damping Sphere, but I don't know if I've ever actually played a Damping Sphere against against Mono Green Devotion and have it actually win me the game. Spark Rupture. Wait, could Spark Rupture actually do something? Hang on a second. Now I gotta look this up. Spark Rupture. What is the actual text on Spark Rupture? Oh, is that the one that turns planeswalkers into creatures? ADB, draw a card. Each planeswalker, one or more loyalty, loses its abilities and is a creature with power and toughness equal to the number of loyalty counters on it. That would be sneaky. I wonder, would that be enough? I think it kind of has a little bit of the Damping Sphere problem where, yes, it's nice that it's stopping Karn from tutoring things up. But remember, Mono Green can win without any specific card. Like, that's why the deck's at the top of the metagame is... Yes, Karn is really good. Nykthos allows for absurd turds. Kiora, like, has the combo potential. Storm the Festival, like, a better collected company in the deck. It has all these synergies, but the deck can win without... There's no one piece. It's not like you can be like, okay, if I can Necromentia Karn, Mono Green, they're done now. Or if I can, like, surgically extract Storm the Festival, okay, it's over. If I can Blood Moon the Nykthos or Damping Sphere the Nykthos, it's over. Part of what makes it such a good deck is it's a very resilient strategy. Like the fact that you can just win by playing big green things and attacking. You can win with like Storm the Festival Coco shenanigans. You can win with Karn like straight up combo kills, more so in Pioneer than on Arena, but you occasionally see them happen on Arena as well. I think that's what makes it such a good deck. It's like a combo deck that is actually kind of Rakdos mid-range, if that makes sense. Like, it's a combo deck, but it also is just playing a bunch of really good cards that can win the game without any of the combo stuff going on. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom, and if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Bring back Winota. Isn't Winota... I think Winota is legal in this format, but rebalanced. Good old rebalancings. What is the Arena version of Winota? I'm assuming it's bad enough that no one ever plays it. Winota, the Arena version, 4 mana 4/4. Whenever one or more non-human creatures shoot. See. I kind of hate rebalancings. I really hate rebalancings. I've said this before, but I am, at this point in my Arena experience, I am way more okay with digital-only alchemy cards than I am with rebalancings. The rebalancings bother me like 100 times more than the alchemy cards. Hey, thank you, Wicked420 Games. Winota, like, why not just ban it? Like, if it's going to be so bad that no one will play it, which the current version is it really any different than it being banned? Like, for practical purposes, it's kind of if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, like that old thing. Like, if a card is rebalanced to such an extent that no one actually puts it in their deck, is it actually just banned? I would argue that yes. The answer would be yes, right? Like, it actually is just banned, right? Legendary Beast. All right, one more. Let's do one more Tooth and Nailing, and then we'll try the Vampire deck. How are you, by the way, Wicked420 Games? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're enjoying the site. If there's anything I can help you with, let me know. Well, I guess we put Prime Time to the bottom with this hand. Opponent. Life Gain. Another Life Gain deck. Arena, and you silly Life Gain players. Alright, opponent. Show us a Ajani's Pridemate to go with the Ajani's well. Nothing. Oh my goodness. What self-respecting Life Gain? Is it 200? That looks like a big pile of magic. Oh, what is this? We're at Diamond. No, wait, why? 236. Are they playing Battle of Wits? Is this Life Gain? What is happening? Legendary Beast with a 236 card deck. Watch them. Oh, they don't even have the snowman. I was going to say, watch them stumble into the book lock that we aren't going to beat. Now I almost don't know if I want to kill this person. I think I might have had a change of heart, and now I kind of want to see what... How do you possibly find 236 cards to put in a life gain deck? It's hard to find 60 cards to... Okay, Impassioned Orator. Yeah, that makes sense. Do we actually want this person to die? I don't know if we want them to die. We might want this game to continue. Just for funsies. Add some green mana, playing a Courser of Crewfix. I mean, eventually we're gonna draw the oh, the Tooth and Nail and close it out. Whoa. Okay, wait. How are you drawing all the good cards out of your 250 card deck? What are the odds that you have a Heliod? We can math this out. Wait, is this a thing? Why? Like, first off, like, if you're a brand new player, how did you get to Diamond? Second off, if you're not a brand new player, why would you put that many cards in your deck? Well, we do not want that Abriel Grazer, that's for sure. Well, Fabled Passage. Gain a life, make a mana, and then crack Fabled Passage. Shuffle away this Abriel Blazer. Get a Forest. Make a mana. Play a One Ring. Play a Knight of the Reliquary. Watch us get comboed. We're gonna lose to this. We are gonna lose to this. Come on. What do you got, opponent? Land. And come on. What do you got in that 233 cards? Shalai. Okay, that's a good one. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose to the 250 card life gain deck. They really are a legendary beast. They're living up to their name. One Ring draws us a card. We untap. There's a Lotus Cobra. One Ring triggers. We draw the Lotus Cobra. There's a World Spine Worm. We don't really want it. We'll play a Lotus Cobra. Make a little more mana. We will Knight of the Reliquary. Sack a Snow-Covered Forest. Shuffle away the World Spine Worm. Get a Fabled Passage. No, Grazer. Alright. Float a mana. Sack the... We don't want this. We do not want this Blazer. Get out of here, Abriel Grazers. Arch Varaska in case we need even more card draw. Alright, Tireless Tracker is... That is better. That is better than the other things we were gonna draw into. One Ring, draw, tracker, play it. Tab land, play it, make some mana. Make some mana. Arch of Varaska, draw a card. Okay, that was a good turn. That was not a bad turn. So we have our Xenagos. We pass the turn. Hopefully don't die yet. Another Recur is such a cool card that deserves to see more play. No! Oh, opponent. Are you going after our One Ring? When it enters a battlefield, exile it until... So this is one of the new versions, right? All right, we will just... Actually, what does this say? You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof. Okay, we'll just get rid of the Banishing Light. Opponent can get another planes. Knight of the Reliquary is a really cool card. It has some really cool tricks. Especially if you can stack up a bunch of landfall pieces. Like, it can do some really sweet things. 250 cards. 250 cards. I can't get over it. Could turn off their Heliod, but besageing their book. I mean... I guess I'm not taking the threat of their deck that seriously, but maybe I should be. Like, maybe there actually is just a risk that we die to this. So opponent gets in, hits us, down to 18, gains a ton of life. Like, maybe I should be taking the risk of this more seriously than I am. They get to make an angel, they get a bunch of triggers. Got 6 win in the historic metagame challenge with this deck. Oh, let me see. Explore on top. So we do have a Xenago. So we can hit our opponent for a bunch. We really would like our Tooth and Nail. That would be the biggest. Ooh. Some Sam combo. Yeah, that deck's really cool. I haven't really tried it in Historic yet. It actually looks very much like the modern version though. Very, very, very similar. Yeah, that looks super sweet. All right, how do we actually do this? Okay, so Castle Garenbrig, trigger, make a mana, sack the Fabled Passage. I mean, if we can find Tooth and Nail. Another One Ring. I mean, I guess we can just play One Rings for a minute and not die. We already have... Alright, draw with the One Ring. Let's go on the One Ring plan, I guess, if we don't find it. We draw the World's... Oh, there's Tooth and Nail. Do we have enough mana? I don't think so. Sack the Clue. Grow the Tracker. So we found the Tooth and Nail. Oh boy, this is getting convoluted. Knight of the Reliquary, sack. I mean, I think we actually can cast it because of Nykthos. So we can get a Fabled Passage. The question is it even worth it? And I'm not sure that it is. Crack the Fabled Passage. These landfall synergies are cute. Trigger. Kind of feels a little bit like the old modern Value Town deck. Sack the Snow-Covered Forest. Trigger. Grow. Get a Nykthos. Shrine of Nyx. Trigger. Nykthos. Tooth and Nail. Both modes. Primeval Titan. World Spineworm. Xenagos. Another One Ring, just in case we're gonna die. Keep the new one. Primeval Titan, just in case they kill our World Spineworm. Wow, we have went through like... Wow, this was a pretty explosive game, I will say. Make a bunch of clues. Make a bunch of mana. Okay, Knight of the Reliquary has been very impressive. Knight of the Reliquary has kind of impressed me this game. Trigger. Draw. Play the Halfling. Go to combat. I guess we just Primeval Titan, actually. I don't think we're winning this turn anyway, so we might as well just thin the deck and draw more cards. Get a land, tapped and tapped. I mean, so we get in for a bit. Grazer. All right, make a bunch of mana, sack some clues. Do you think Lightning Bolt actually needs to be banned in this format? I'm not convinced it does. All right. Well, I kind of wish I was playing a 250 card deck now, because we are getting to the point where we're going to be in danger of milling out. That is an actual concern. We have 21 cards. Our opponent has 231 with 6 different abilities. What 6 different abilities would you give the new questing beast for Wilds of Eldraine? Well, I mean, you gotta have damage prevention, right, to beat the One Ring. Banding, phasing, Megamorph. Opponent, Bruna. Nothing in the graveyard, but sure. So is this Angels? 250 card life gain Angels? Bushido, Storm? Ooh, what about questing beast with Storm? How do we make that happen? Mega Manifest. Normal Manifest is played out. It's got to be Mega Manifest. Undying and persist. Oh yeah, you're never killing it. Ward. I want a creature with ward. You lose the game. So it'd actually just be hexproof. Unless you have stifle. If you had stifle, there would be a way around it. Kind of like a sorcery speed counter spell. It doesn't make a lot of sense at first glance, but mega ward, yeah. Void Rend? Yeah, Crim wouldn't care. Crim, yeah, Void Rend. Yeah, what do I care? Can't ward, sure, whatever. I'm always playing Void Rend. It is a very Crim card. Crim just loves killing things. And likes countering people. He doesn't like getting countered, but he likes countering other people. Do you think Elesh Norn and Seedcore Shark would be good in a control deck? Wait, let me look up Seedcore. Oh, is it Chrome Host Seed Shark? Chrome Host Seed Shark. Yes, I do think Chrome Host Seed Shark has shown up in some control decks already. Elesh Norn, not as much, the new Elesh Norn, but I do think it would work pretty well in that shell. So yes, I think you're on the right track for sure. Okay, so oh god. All right, let's do Night of the Reliquary things. Float a mana, Night of the Reliquary. So our goal now is to find another Tooth and Nail, I think. Get a land. Make a mana, land on top of the deck, make a mana. Play the land from the top of our deck. Oh god. Okay, make a mana, make a mana. Do we have another land we can sack? Oh, I guess we can sack a temple. Okay. Float a mana. I mean, we have all the mana we're ever gonna need. Get a overgrown farmland. Make some mana. Make some clues. Draw with the one. Where in the world? Where in the world? Okay. How about a Primeval Titan to get rid of this Grazer that keeps finding its way back to the top of our deck somehow. Last two lands in the entire deck. Trigger, 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 trigger. Add some mana. Do we actually win this? I'm actually not sure if we win this. Lotus Cobra. Crack the Clue. Draw the Courser. 14 cards in the deck. Okay, there's a Tooth and Nail. Crack a Clue. Draw the Tooth and Nail. Arboreal Grazer. Put a land into play. I mean, this has been quite the game. Make a mana, make a mana, make a mana. Courser of Crufix. Arena's getting so laggy. Tireless Tracker might as well. Delighted Halfling, sure, add it to the pile. Arboreal Grazer, our buddy, does nothing. All right, Nykthos, make a tiny bit of mana. Tooth and Nail, both modes. Do we even have any creatures worth tutoring up at this point? Primeval Titan and I guess Night of the Reliquary. Decline. Crack the Clue. Another Tooth and Nail. Oh my god, we're casting all the Tooth and Nails. Tooth and Nail, Tooth and Nail. Watch our opponent find a Wrath. If they find a Wrath, we are so dead. Grazer Lotus Cobra. Our deck is mostly Grazers at this point. One ring, just in case. 7 cards in the deck. Keep the new one for protection. Go to combat. Grow the World Spine Worm. And attack, attack, attack. All right, here we come. I don't know if we're actually winning this. I'm not convinced. Why is our opponent's team so big? Is that just Heliod going off? The legendary beast. The legendary beast. Opponent blocks. And also blocks. And also blocks. Yeah, we're not doing any math. We're attacking. Ooh, wait. Okay. Well, in that case, we'll crack a clue. We got to get in. Actually, maybe we do have to do math. I don't know if our opponent considered trample here. Maybe. Are they dead? Nope. to one. Does anyone know a good website for quality proxies? I really want to have a Rael with better art. So I'm a big believer in... I think our opponent thought they were dead. I'm a big believer in not buying counterfeit cards. So, Etsy maybe? Someplace like that. I'm definitely a huge supporter of proxies. I'm not a supporter of counterfeit still, so please don't recommend counterfeit sites. If you have non-counterfeit proxy ideas, I guess my ideal world is proxies are like the little Sharpie on a basic land thing. Although I've kind of come around to the like, if you want to get cool alt art proxies or whatever, like I'm not gonna complain about it. But I do think that getting like the ones that are trying to replicate real cards exactly, I do think that's actually a bad idea. The coolest proxies aren't counterfeits. What are the... I would actually agree with that. Like, all art, custom art proxies are probably way cooler than counterfeits. Yeah, I guess we'll just do a little blocking just in case. Opponent. So I actually have an ethical question. And I'm curious. Because I've noticed with the AI stuff, there's been a lot of outrage about AI learning off of artists' art. I'm curious. We're blocking with 0 power creatures anyway. Oh. There's not a... Yeah, we lose. There's not a card in our deck that actually gets out from under this. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And this deck doesn't have any removal. There's literally no removal. I don't know how our opponent managed to draw the Book of Exalted Deeds out of their 229 cards. I mean, if we have a Blast Zone, it's the very bottom card of our deck. So we can Tooth and Nail. Wow, the best Tooth and Nail ever. Tooth and Nail to shuffle our deck. We definitely don't... Oh, the Blast Zone's in the sideboard as well. So we literally have no way to beat this. It's in the sideboard. It's not on the main deck. Now I remember. Yeah, it's on the sideboard. Well, I don't know how that happened, but we lost to the 250 card special. Oh, that was a crazy game. We did get to see our deck go off, which was sweet. So this was my question. So I've seen a lot of complaints or whatever about AI like learning off of people's art. If you're someone who uses real art on your proxies, do you have any ethical qualms about that? Do you ever like that would be the only thing I would wonder about of using like the normal art that's on Magic cards? Is that in any way like hurting the artist or whatever? Even if you want to like, because I know some people are like, I want a proxy just to stick it to WotC. I don't agree with anything WotC does. So I can understand. I don't know. And I agree with that 100%, but I can understand how that could be someone's perspective. But I do wonder though, if that's like, is that a vote in favor of using the the non-official art, so you avoid any potential ethical quandaries about that. If you're not selling proxies but using them only for personal use, I don't consider that unethical. That makes, I mean, I can see that. But then, I mean, what about the AI thing, though? That's what makes me wonder, because it's like, I'm just training a computer program. Like, why is anyone upset about this? You know, I'm not, you know, selling these or anything. I'm just using it to train this algorithm, essentially. What are we cutting? Probably a courser. Maybe just 2 coursers. We'll bring in March. We definitely want another answer or two now that we see that our opponent could randomly draw a Book of Exalted Deeds. That is a thing that exists in their deck somehow. All right. We can't lose to this deck, chat. If we lose to this deck, it's almost like losing to Sparky. Sort of. Just because there's 250 cards or whatever in our... How many are there exactly? Just because there's 238 cards in our opponent's deck, it's kind of like a little bit like losing to Sparky. Just because that's so next level meme-ish deck building. I think about the same as having a personal copy of a movie. It is legal to my country, so I proxy the card I already own for my personal use if I can't afford to buy staples for every deck. I mean, like I said before, I'm definitely 100% pro proxy. I do think the interesting part of the conversation is, what do your proxies look like? How do you get them? Like, I'm definitely in favor of using proxies for casual play. The only question is, like, do you buy them? Do you Sharpie them? Are you using the magic art or using other art? Is it no art at all? I think that's where the questions are. So I think that, like, for me at least, the question of, like, should I proxy, assuming you are playing casual formats, like, I feel like that's kind of been answered at this point. Like, you don't need to buy $1,000 Guy's Cradle or whatever to play Commander. I think we've moved, at least I have moved past that that conversation. I really want to play this Knight of the Reliquary, but I think, what are the odds that our opponent has another Giada? Essentially 0. We know the odds. Their deck is huge. There's no way. If we kill this Giada, they shouldn't be able to do anything. Opponent plays a land. Banishing Light. Well, that is not exactly nothing, but... Knight of the Reliquary, and boom, send a message with a Grazer, hit you down to 17. Opponent. Rock's Faith Mender. I did not even realize that was on Arena. So... Wow, we are missing land drops like crazy. Knight of the Reliquary, sack. How do we do this? I mean, I guess we take Fabled Passage and play Delighted Halfling. Oh no. Oh, we're gonna lose to this deck. We're losing to Sparky. What's up, Claritha? Claritha. How are you today? What is? Oh no, my goodness. Are there actually 250 good life gain cards on Arena? Is that actually a thing? Oh, come on, deck. We gotta draw lands. A second Fabled Passage. Okay, that kind of sort of works. All right, crack Fabled Passage. Snow-covered forest. Crack Fabled Passage. Snow-covered mountain. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. Meaning your on-set you have 15 or more life. Then your starting life total. Each player it attacked this turn loses the game. Okay. Well, Knight of the Reliquary. Sack the snow-covered forest. Get a Temple Garden untapped. Primeval Titan comes down. Yes, please. Nykthos. And the World Tree. Pass the turn. Opponent. Do you like the Lord of the Rings set? I've been very of the opinion that the set is basically a twisted monkey's paw wish. Every format it's legal in has been warped pretty vividly. Are they just attacking with the angel? So I think the answer is in general, yes. I do generally like the Lord of the Rings set. I think that it might have a smaller case of the Modern Horizons 2 problem, which is, we'll see. We'll know a lot more this weekend after the Pro Tour, but it might be one of those cases where the top couple of cards in the set might have went a little too far, like the One Ring and Bowmasters in specific. Those cards might have actually just been pushed a wee bit too hard. Which reminds me a little bit of Modern Horizons, which is something that's happened with Modern Horizons before. So I could see that. That might be true. In general, though, it's another one of those situations where I would say, like, a huge percentage of the cards are actually, like, in my opinion, very much positives. Like 98% of the cards, 99% of the cards, I think are fun and enjoyable, and I'm glad they exist in Magic. But then you have those couple of cards that kind of tend to dominate the conversation. On the other hand, like, I was worried the Lord of the Rings set was going to have almost no impact on older formats. I don't know if having this amount of impact is actually better. It's had a really big impact with those couple of cards. So I don't know if that's a good thing, but it also would be awkward if you made a Lord of the Rings set and had Pro Tour Lord of the Rings for Modern and none of the cards from the set saw play. Opponents are really good at drawing Bruna. Really good at finding Bruna. Bowmasters is the best card in Magic. I don't know if I'd say yes. Oh, that's actually a really good question. Over under on copies of the One Ring in the Pro Tour top 8. My money's on 29. So, when we talked about this on the podcast yesterday, my number was half, 50% of the decks being One Ring decks. I actually think that, boy, the One Ring is, we have seen, like, there are archetypes that beat it. The question is, are the pros going to want to play those archetypes? I feel like the One Ring, like Omnath style decks are the kind of decks that pros would really like playing. Pros like those. I get to outplay you decks. I play a bunch of like Jundi good cards, and I get to just like prove that I'm better at you than Magic by outplaying you. Pros tend to like decks like that, so I feel like that deck probably an obvious one for a lot of pros to end up playing. Well, run out the Xenagos. Pitch the Beseju. Get back the Tireless Tracker. Do we win here? At the beginning of combat in your turn, another target creature gains haste +X/+X, where X is its power. I mean, we can get in a big attack. Well, go to combat. One, two. Yeah, I guess we just double a Primeval Titan. Attack. Trigger. Get a few million lands out of our deck. I can't believe this matchup has been so close. I can't believe it's been so close. When you hear 250 card deck, you immediately think like super casual and janky, but it's somehow kind of working. What's your prediction, chat? How many One Rings, how many Bowmasters? I think it's possible there's more Bowmasters than One Rings in the top 8. I think Bowmasters arguably goes in more decks. So that would maybe be a vote for Bowmasters. But the One Ring, I think, is a stronger card. Bring back Hagak. No. I mean, actually, we should bring back a lot of cards off the Modern ban list, though. Does this kill us? Archangel Elspeth. Hilariously, this Angel of Destiny, the life gain thing is actually kind of hurting our opponent. Yeah. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent hits us. Sure. Okay, hits us, but we gain back the life. But they gain twice as much life because of Faith Mender. Up to 21. All right, crack the clue. Please, Magic Gods, don't let us lose to Legendary Beast in their 250 card deck. Explore. Oh. I mean, that's gotta be helpful, right? It's gotta be. For some reason, Arena loves defaulting to playing Nykthos, to tapping Nykthos first. I don't know why Arena has such a big thing about tapping Nykthos right away. Tap. This match is killing Arena. It's so laggy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. Yep. Maybe it's a world tree that's making it super slow. 6. Primeval Titan. Yes, please. Again, have almost gotten every land out of our deck. Trigger. Now we'll play the Elish Norn. Crack a clue. I mean, it seems like we should be able to win pretty quickly if we actually try to. Crack a clue. Oh, there's a tooth and nail for next turn. All right, well, go to combat. Haste up the Knight of the Reliquary. Double it. Everything at your face. This has got to be enough, right? It's got to be. Land and land. Land and land. All the clues in the west. Oh, okay, opponent. Finally dead. Any bet on how many non-Bowmaster, non-Lord of the Rings, non-One Ring Lord of the Rings cards will make it in the top 8? So really, the Lord of the Rings set, the top end is very similar, I think, to Modern Horizons, where One Ring Bowmasters kind of format divining cards. So I think those are the big ones. After that, the list becomes a little bit questionable. So, like, Delighted Halfling actually sees a lot of play, in part because Bowmasters is so popular. Having a mana dork that's 2 toughness, really big deal. So I think there's a decent chance Delighted Halfling will be in a top 8 deck or a top 16 deck. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Once you get beyond Delighted Halfling, then you're kind of down to the, like, will anyone try to play a Sam combo deck? It's possible. We've seen them have success. There's been jankier Lannis versions. There's been, like, more spikier Cauldron Familiar versions. So that would be a chance. Like, if Hammer Time sometimes has a copy or two of Forge Anew, that could be a top 8 deck. Reprieve actually shows up in a decent amount of decks, so that would be a possibility. I think it's really the top 3, though. Like, after this, I would not be surprised. So I would be shocked if there was not a One Ring or Bowmasters in the top 8. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a Delighted Halfling in the top 8. Once you get beyond that, it would not surprise me at all if no other cards for the set, outside of maybe like a random like reprieve, stern scolding style utility spell. But really, I wouldn't be surprised if no other cards made the top 8 from the set. That would not be surprising to me. Well, let's run it back. Oh. I mean, I'm hoping we see, yeah, Tom Shelob. Oh yeah, the cyclers. The cyclers, that's true. I wasn't thinking about those. Like Oliphant or the blue one that draws cards. Those are both pretty good cards, and I think like especially the land cyclers. So one of the things we've seen in Modern as we prepare for the Pro Tour here, one of the things we've seen though is Living End has kind of risen up to be one of the foils for the current meta. Like right now, all right, hang on. Let's see if we can beat this 250 card deck without timing out, and then we'll talk a little bit about Modern. About it, puts land into play. But I have more thoughts. Ooh, opponent found their Helion. Well, play Lotus Cobra. Play Blast Zone. Make a mana. Okay, Stomping Grounds. Make a mana. Sack the Clue. I guess we didn't have to put it into play on tap, did we? Well, sack the Clue. There's a prime time. Hit ya. Okay, we're the aggro. We're the aggro now. Down to 16. Down to 16. Opponent draws card number 236 from their deck. Finds a Vanishing Light. Okay, we need a land to get to prime time. Explore. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Oh, the worst grazer ever. Go to combat, hit ya. Yeah, that is just grazer doing grazer things. Coming off the top of the deck when you really want to land. All right, pass the turn. About it. Land and Elspeth. Opponents drawing the good cards. They're drawing the good cards this game. That's a concern. That is a concern. That's a Planeswalker. That's a Heliod. Opponent's going to tick down their Elspeth. Whiff, whiff, whiff. Land. How about a land? Daxos turns on the Heliod. This feels really bad, but Shield only cares about, yeah, if it would be dealt damage or destroyed. This, actually, we don't even have to do this now, do we? So we take 5, we kill this, we kill this. Actually, we're going to do it now. All right, so March, exile March. This is a little greedy, but we get rid of the Daxos, which fizzles the Heliod. Ooh, that's what we were looking for. Which lets us play Primeval Titan to get a couple lands to keep moving forward. We will take a Nykthos. We will take Arch of Araska. That'll make us some mana that doesn't really do anything. Play a Grazer. Go to combat. Kill the Elspeth. Why is this matchup so hard? All right, Elspeth out. Put it down to 14. I can't think of a card that we've seen our opponent play 2 of, honestly. What does this even do? Beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 more life, make a 4/4. All right, well, get in with Primeval Titan. Lair the Hydra. World Tree. Make some mana, make some mana. Draw with Arch of Araska. Grazers. Why? Why all the Grazers? Oh, all right. How about a 1 ring? Get some protection. Draw with the 1 ring. Grazer. Put a Stomping Grounds into play. Oh, how have we found so many grazers? Play the land, make a mana. Might as well add a counter to our blast zone. That could matter in the future. Pass the turn. I mean, we got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Our opponent needs, like, if our opponent finds, like, a farewell or something. I'm kind of thinking they must be playing more than one Bruna, because they're drawing Bruna every game. There's no way they draw it that often if there was just one, right? Out of a two. Okay. G, tooth and nail, coming to show our opponent what is up, and we will take a World Spine Worm, and we will take a Xenagos. We will put them into play. This is why we play the deck, and we have proven that our deck is slightly better than a 250 card life gain deck. Only slightly, though, not by much. Not by much. Not by much at all. All right, go attacking. And opponent skips it up. Okay. Wow. Well, we only just barely beat the 250 card deck. Grazertron proved its worth. We had jump blockers for these Brunas for days. 4 days. Do you have experience in Pauper? I'm brewing in the format, but flopping sideways. So, I haven't played much Pauper in a while. I've played Pauper on and off. Rust Goliath. Wait, what is this deck? What is the win con? What are we trying to do here? Choose target creature. Player via the top card of your library. Oh, wait. Wow, this... So this is definitely a spicy idea. So as far as I can tell, we're trying to get Rust Goliath to the top of our deck, copy Erratic Explosion, and win that way. That's definitely super spicy. I mean, it seems like you have a lot of the good in Pauper cards. Brainstorms, Ponders, Counter Spells. I mean, it seems reasonable to me. I think that maybe it's kind of a sort of against the oddsian style combo where I imagine that there's going to be just like these aggro decks that are super fast and probably kill you while you're trying to get things set up. So I don't think the deck's bad. I think it's just trying to pull off a really challenging combo, I would say. I like the idea though. The thing I was trying to say about Modern, yeah, we'll try the Vampire deck for a game or two. The thing I was saying about Modern, I should mention this deck real quick. So this is a Vampire deck. We might play it. Hey, thanks for the deck, Jim. It actually went pretty well. I think we went 3-2 overall with it. We played against a ton of life gain decks for some reason, but it actually felt pretty good. I would say I threw together a tooth and nail deck, and I like how yours played better than mine. When I first started playing it, I was skeptical in Night of the Reliquary, and I think it was partly because of the product of the matchups. We didn't play many people that were killing our creatures, but in the later games, the Night of the Reliquaries actually were really sweet. So the deck was super cool. Thank you for sending it in again. Airme for the 36-month, 3-year resub. Hey Seth, you're wondering if short combo deck got me back to MTGA. Just managed to get to gold after like 3 days of ranked. Hey, awesome, Airme. Yeah, the deck is, as long as you dodge the Karn, it's super fun. So the thing I was saying about Modern, and then we'll try the Vampire deck. The thing I was saying about Modern is Living End has risen up to be one of the main foils of Omnath and Bowmaster decks. People have realized that your best bet is often just to do something explosive before the ring is coming down, like building a huge board with Living End, backing it up with some disruption. Like Living End, you just make a huge board, your opponent one ranks, you're like, yeah, sure, like protection for a turn, whatever. Next turn, I'm going to hit you with 40 power or whatever. So I expect Living End will be part of the Pro Tour, which means Oliphant and Generous Ent will likely make an appearance, because those have developed into staples. Like the Living End deck, some of the most recent ones, 14 lands. It's just overloading on land cyclers and cutting very, very aggressively on lands. So those are other cards that I would definitely expect to show up in the actual event. So Hilding Queen of Queens, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm playing the Mono Black Devotion deck you played a week ago, and it reminds me of the Corrupt Mirari deck I played when I was a kid. Gary rocks. I could see that. Yeah, Gary's a little bit like Creature Corrupt. So what is this deck? So I wanted to build vampires that wasn't typical vampires. The reason to try this deck was Bloodghast. So what makes this deck a little, I wanted to try something different. We've played Galta vampires before. We've played kind of tribal lordy vampires before. This is really an aristocrat style vampires built around Bloodghast in Silver, Smoke Ghoul, and Sorin. So the idea is, Bloodghast keeps coming into play whenever we make a land drop, so it's a very sackable vampire. We also have Silver Smoke Ghoul, which comes back into play if we've gained 3 or more life during our turn on our end step. Sorin just happens to have a mode where you can sack a vampire to lightning helix something, 3 damage to something, and we gain 3. So the idea is we can like sacrifice the Silver Smoke to get back the Silver Smoke with the Sorin, gaining us life, get back to Bloodghast, all while triggering our Blood Artists and our Cruel Celebrants. We do have Champion at us just to draw a bunch of cards. Veto is just turning our life gain into damage. And then our big finisher is a Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate card, I think. Asterion the Decadent, 6 mana, Vampire Elf Rogue, Death Touch Lifelink, beginning of end step, target opponent loses life equal to the amount of life they lost this turn, or we gain life equal to the amount of life we gain this turn. So if we do our life gain shenanigans and drop an Asterion, we can potentially just burn our opponent out of the game with Veto or whatever. So I don't know if this is actually like a very strong version of vampires. It's probably stronger just to like play all the strongest standalone vampires, but I'm curious if this synergistic sacrifice plan. Oh, there's actually, I should have went further in the deck tech. There are 2 other ways to sacrifice our creatures. So you have Sorin to sacrifice creatures, Yahenni. Yahenni also is a 3-drop that can sacrifice creatures to make itself indestructible, so it's another free sack outlet. And then the OG Aristocrat, Falkenrath Aristocrat, 4/1 Flying Haste, sack a creature, gains indestructible in the turn. If it's a human, you get a counter on it. So this is another free sack outlet. So in the late game, we can potentially stack up a couple of Blood Artists, Cruel Celebrants, and just like sack our entire board, gain a bunch of life, drain you a bunch, get back all our Silver Smokes, get back all of our Bloodghast, do it again, drain you out of the game on the spot. So yeah, we do have quite a few sack outlets thanks to Falkenrath Aristocrat, which I actually didn't realize was on Arena. I'm still not sure what set put it on Arena, but it's there. Seen some people go full dredge and play mill cards on themselves. Yeah, you can definitely build like Bloodghast with prized amalgams, creeping chills, narcomoebas, and actually do like full-on self-mill shenanigans, dredge shenanigans. Deck list should be updated now. Oh, it's from Shadows of, oh, right. It was from the, that's right. They had that special sheet, right, during Shadows of Innistrad where they added the cards from the older Innistrad sets. That makes sense. All I know is I just spent a lot of mythic wild cards on them today. Expensive. Well, we're gonna have a Sorin, but nothing to do with it at the moment. Well, you might have a Sorin. Opponent. Chat, have we played life gain every single round? I think we've played life gain literally every single round. Like, quite literally every single one. We're gonna put a Falkenrath Aristocrat into play and just go beat downs. Boom. How do you feel about 4 in the air, opponent? That's a hasty Falkenrath Aristocrat. Down to 16. I mean, hopefully we'll have something to sacrifice, but yes, 1 toughness is bad against Bowmasters. Although the sack to make indestructible and Sorin growth does help to some extent. More Sorins. Well, we will take up on Aristocrat. Go to combat, hit ya. I mean, one of the nice things about Falkenrath Aristocrat is it is kind of a fast clock. Like, it's already gotten in for 9. Opponent going to reprieve. All right, well, pass the turn. Can you beat a Sorin? About it. Even more authority of the consoles. What is happening on Arena? What, did life gain suddenly become good? Am I missing something? Did I miss the memo? Did I miss the memo where everything became life gain? Get in, hit ya. Opponent down to 5. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. Opponent. Reprieves again. Well, tap land. Go. Opponent untaps. Land. And Lunarch Veteran. Okay. And even more Lunarch Veterans. Uh-huh. And Prosperous Innkeeper. Uh-huh. And what's that last card? Opponent passes. Well, we will win, I think. Go to combat, hit ya. Down to 2, and then just soar in. Lightning Helix? Okay, I mean, that did work. Why is everyone a life gain deck? Literally everyone. Literally everyone. I feel like we played 5 or 6 in a row. Do you think it's better to play net decks for a first commander deck or just build your own till it works? My Atraxa Infect deck is not really working in MTGO, but I'm not the best deck builder. So I'm a big believer in other people's decks being very helpful in learning how to build your own decks. So I would say if you see a cool deck on Commander Clash or Playing with Power, Command Zone, whatever, like the internet at large, if you see a deck and you're like, wow, that looks really cool, I think I would have fun playing that, pick it up and play with it. Because I think that's super beneficial when you're learning a new format, because you're going to take in, yeah, we're playing ranked though. I don't even know. We're playing the life gain queue. So it's going to be very beneficial because you just get a feel like how many ramp spells are in it, what removal spells are in it, are there, you know, how many threats are in it. So I'm a big believer in playing other people's decks. So I would encourage you, if you're struggling with your own deck, don't feel a little bit bad about playing someone else's deck. Play it forever or use it as a way to improve at building your own decks in the future if that's what you want to do. I love playing with Power. You should play with them. Yeah, I don't do too much CDH. That's kind of the main thing. I'm not really. I mean, I enjoy CDH. Every time I play CDH, I do have fun playing CDH. But yeah, they're way more CDH-y than I am in general, I think. We'll bring in the 2 Crippling Fears. I mean, I guess we're also kind of a life gain deck, aren't we? When you really think about it, we are kind of a life gain deck. Yeah, maybe something like that's fine. It also helps to get a grip on all the available cards to look at in other decks. Yeah, I've never understood the anti-net decking mentality. I think it's because Shesh should narrate a Playing with Power video without having seen the game before he records a voiceover. That would actually... What? 7 lands? That's not great. Well, Silver Smoke. Show us what you're made of, Silver Smoke. Authority of the Consuls. Every time. Well, tap land. Go. Opponent. Plains and Soul Warden. And also Lunarch Veteran. Well, yeah, on the shrine, go. I mean, at some point we're gonna have a pretty good Crippling Fear. We'll see if we're dead before we get to it. Like if they start cocoing. Yeah, let's play Silver Smoke, even though it's gonna die. Well, actually, I guess we can not have it die. No coke. This is huge. What do they hit? Lunarch Veteran, Scurry Oak. They're not infinite, though, right? They're not infinite, and then we sweep, and then we win. That's what they're doing. They're trying to play Scurry Oak combo. Wow. Lunarch Veteran, number 40. Opponent recklessly dumping their hand into the most crippling of fears here. Oh, this is This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt for our opponent. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't the chosen type get -3, -3. Aren't the chosen type. So we will name Vampire. Opponent will lose a few things. Just a few creatures. Hit you with the Silver Smoke. Been having a lot of fun with Tainted Remedy lately. Tainted Remedy would be absurd against this deck. If people really are playing that many life gain decks, it probably is actually just worth playing, which is wild. Cruel Celebrant and Fabled Passage and Crack Fabled Passage. I mean, it's still not a guarantee that we win from here by any means. Henny. And get in with the Silver Smoke. All right, opponent's gonna block. I mean, it's gonna come back eventually. We'll gain the life. All right, pass the turn. We need a Sorin. We need a Sorin. Another Soul Warden, or just another Crippling Fear would be good. All right, Luminous Phantom again. The authority of the console is actually kind of annoying. Down to 15. Well, Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. Opponent's gonna get a bunch of life. I'll hit you with your Henny. Castle Dracula past the turn. I'm worried about a Coco. Coco for combo pieces could be bad. Yeah, I kind of wish we had Tainted Remedy in this deck. We would be really showing our opponent what's up. If there's really this much life gain, then Tainted Remedy actually seems like a playable sideboard card at the moment. Oh, even more. Well, okay, make a blood. Sack the blood, discard a land. The flood is still on. Veto. Well, play the land, play veto. Opponent finds a reprieve. Well, hit ya. Down to 30 past the turn. Gutstama! Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you. Opponent combat attacks. Hits us. Down to 11. And passes. Well, play veto. We'll choose that one. Opponent gains a bunch of life. We're going to play the land, actually, to activate veto. Attack. Actually, maybe... okay, attack. Please don't have drawn Coco. Veto. Activate it. What a world. Hit ya. Gain a bunch of life. Drain you for a bunch. Get back our Silver Smoke. Who's the life gain deck now? I guess we're both the life gain deck now, but our opponent has infinite combos. Opponent. No Coco. No combo. No Coco, no combo. Anything else is fine. No Cocos, no combos. Okay, Rosy Cotton. Yeah, that is a combo piece. So if our opponent finds a Scurry Oak, we get got. Opponent gains some life, and what do we want? Sorin? Sorin's probably our best draw. Land. Well, make a blood. Discard the land. We do need to kill them before they... Whoa! We gotta name Vampire. We are going to name Vampire, and GG. No, Crippling Fear doesn't just help. Crippling Fear just ends our opponent here. Yeah, I guess we got a little lucky to draw 2 of 2 sideboarded Crippling Fears. Yeah, I do not believe there's a way our opponent gets back in and out. I mean, really, that's not true. Coco could still just hit their combo. But that puts us in a really good spot now. We get in for a bunch. Opponent goes down to 19. Pass the turn. And is it a Coco? Opponent passing. I mean, if they don't draw something, don't they just straight up lose to veto? Like, veto activation adds a lot of damage. Oh, Champion of Dusk. Come out. Okay, go to combat attack. Oh! Okay. I was planning on activating. I was trying to wait to see if they were flashing in Coco, but I guess I should have just activated. There's actually no stop there. Play a land and pass the turn. Didn't realize Falconwrath the Aristocrat was on Arena. Such a cool card. Me either until today. Oh no. Wow! Okay, we're fine. Sack Silver Smo. Yeah, this works. Wow, I can't believe they drew both of their combo pieces. Fatal Push, Scurry Oak. I mean, we did get him. Wow. Maybe Celebrant would have, yeah, Celebrant probably would have been lethal. I was thinking, oh, we want to leave up removal for their combo, but should have been thinking, are they dead? And they were dead. Wow. I mean, I think it's, what is this, 1,000? Actually, hang on. What is that on my homepage? Why does that say 1,000? 1,000 gold. Click here to view reward track. Did y'all do the mastery for the Lord of the Rings set? Why do I still have March of the Machines mastery? Oh, I still have some orbs. I gotta get my Yargle sleeves. Where's my Yargle sleeves? Is the mastery pass worth it for the Lord of the Rings set? I mean, I guess it depends on. I heard there were old school swamps in the daily deals, but I don't actually see them. Speaking of corrupt, though, yeah, being a non-standard set, it seems a little weird to get the mastery pass. I do it for every set. It's like the only thing worth it on Arena. Did you do it for the Lord of the Rings set too? Is it still worth it? Did you respond to the Arena questionnaire? Not yet. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but I haven't actually. Oh, we got our blood gas this time, but I haven't actually filled it out yet. Really, what made you stop Dogamyth? About it. I've recently come back to Arena. Mastery rewards look worse than ever. Yeah, I haven't actually calculated it recently. Let's do it together. Can be fun. How long is it, Corneas? I know one time I had the idea of like, oh, we should do it together, and then when I fired it up, it was like 100 questions. I was like, oh god, I don't know if everyone wants to sit through this. When's the next Arena release schedule? Next Arena release is beginning of September. We'll be getting Wilds of Eldraine, a new standard set. This is a slow time. The summer is the slow time. Things will pick back up quite a bit once we get to the fall. Once we get to the fall, there's gonna be like set in September, set in November, possibly some in between special stuff. So yeah, it's gonna get much busier here shortly. Wish we had gotten to this Champion of Dusk. Oh, what do you think of the Doctor Who cards? That was oh no, Double Righteous Valkyrie. That was the other news that we didn't actually, I don't think we've talked about yet since our Angel's getting big. Angel's getting big. Well, yeah, that's a little clunky. What do you think of these Doctor Who cards? I'm curious, how many of you are Doctor Who fans? We tried to figure this out on the on the podcast yesterday. How many of you are actually Doctor Who fans? I gotta say, so I know people really like this show, and I want to give it a shot. I mean, I sat through the Lord of the Rings movies for the Lord of the Rings set. If I sat through Lord of the Rings, which I actively dislike, I should at least give Doctor Who a shot, right? Since we're getting universes beyond. I wonder, though, once I read Timey-Wimey, it kinda lost me. Honestly, Timey-Wimey, I don't know why. Timey-Wimey was just like, is that like the Clash On of Doctor Who? Is it just like the thing that everyone cringes and like puts up with because they like it still or something? Because it seems like so cringy. But I like Monty Python. Monty Python's British humor, but it's actually funny. Timey-Wimey just makes me want to kind of punch you. It bounces back and forth between whack and serious. Oh, it's a thing from one app. Oh, okay. That makes it a little better. I was thinking it was like a catchphrase that, like, if you watch this, he just walks around in every episode. It's like, timey-wimey or something. Like, I don't know if I could put up with that. He just like says timey-wimey and jumps in a phone booth, and that's the show. What are Daleks? I tried to Google Daleks. And it sounded like they're like, are they like racist or something? Was it like, I don't know, the Wikipedia page said they were like some like racist alien race or something. Oh, they're the bad, okay, they're the bad guys. I see. So they're supposed to be the bad guys. That, okay, they're space Nazis? Really? They're actually, okay. I don't know why they're space Nazis, but I guess they would definitely be the bad guys, right? Like that part makes sense to me. Oh, okay. Wait, so they walk around jumping in. So Doctor Who, timey-wimey, telephone booth spaceships, and space Nazis. I think I've got it. It all makes perfect sense now. It all makes perfect sense. Oh, we solved it. Cheaty land from our opponent, the Blossoming Sands. I mean, I think so. I asked about it on Twitter, and I got a couple lists of. A lot of people recommended if you want to try it, start with the reboot, not the original. And then a couple people gave pretty good lists of like episodes that would be introductory episodes if you want to check them out. So I might try that. I might try just a couple episodes. A lot of historic content lately. Yeah, I mean, standard's pretty salved. We just got the Lord of the Rings set. The Lord of the Rings set is not legal in a lot of formats. So a lot of forces have kind of conspired together, I would say, to make it a pretty good time for. Oh, all right, let's do this. Soren, to make it a pretty good time for historic. So we can sack the Bloodghast. I mean, this is one of the synergies of the deck. We can sack the Bloodghast, get a Lightning Helix, kill the Speaker of the Heavens, play Tignuma, get back the Bloodghast, combo. That's like we got a Lightning Helix for free. Aw, Skyclave Apparition. That's not an angel opponent. I call shenanigans. Somehow we never get the. Well, let's go attacking. Opponent probably just thinks it's a freebie attack because we have a land drop. Little do they know, we actually have the Crippling Fear. All right, that works. We get rid of the bishop. We get a 3/3. Pass the turn. Hey, what's up, Moxie? How are you? Good to see ya. Righteous Valkyrie. Ooh, land. Okay. Play the land. Get back the Bloodghast. Crack the land. Get a mountain. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. Hit ya. Aristocrat might, like, the one toughness is a little scary in Bowmaster World, but maybe Aristocrat's still a good card. 4 power Hasty for 4 mana, not bad. Yep. A crippling fear of antelopes. You know what happened? There was a rabid raccoon out here the other day. One of the downsides of living out in the middle of nowhere. There was like a straight up like rabid raccoon chasing people around. About it. We draw a plains. Well, let's go to combat. Hit ya. Double Righteous Valkyrie is discouraging. Champion of Dusk. Draw a million, literally a million lands. Pass the turn. Opponent. Yeah. McGarry for the 68th month. Welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your oh no, does this go off? Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, it does. Oh, I don't think we can beat 2 Righteous Valkyries Resplendent Angel. Our opponent's just like... Opponent didn't even do anything and they're going off. That is brutal. That is brutal. So we get to sack this. Draw a card. Fatal Push Righteous Valkyrie. We've also drawn a lot of lands, unfortunately, but opponent had like 1 turn of doing things, and 2 Righteous Valkyries just too good. McGarry for the 16 months. Is there anything that Eldraine could print that would effectively shake black from the top of the meta? Which this with this many good cards, won't black always be present as a splash? We're actually kind of talking about this at the beginning of the stream, McCary. One of my big fears, and welcome back to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for the subscription. One of my big fears is, what do we do? What do we do about standard? Like, I have a very big fear. Where I landed was Eldraine. Eldraine is kind of a must-hit set for Wizards. Because Wizards decided to get rid of rotation and do all this ridiculous stuff with standard, because they made this very risky and harebrained scheme, they essentially need Eldraine to somehow be good enough to shake up standard, to unseat black as the best color in standard, but they also can't have it be broken. And doubly so because it's Eldraine, and people already associate Eldraine with being broken. They can't just have another, like, broken Eldraine set where they have to ban 20 cards, because they're actually also not supposed to be banning stuff for another year because of their new banning system. So I feel like Wizards is, like... I don't know what they do. I feel like they had all these somewhat logical pathways forward of, like... rotations like we've always done, bannings like we've always done, but instead they like handcuff their own hands behind their back and are trying to like thread this really, really thin needle to make all this work. I hope they do. I hope they do. I don't know. Do I think they will? I'm not that confident, honestly. I hope they do, though. I hope they thread that needle and that standard is amazing and they figure everything out. So I guess we'll see. But I think that is a real concern. I think it's very, very difficult to print a set that's not broken, but print a set that's good enough to shake up the format without being broken, especially without rotation especially without rotation as a fallback, essentially. Without rotation, you just be like, oh, well, at least the problems are going to be gone. That doesn't happen this year. Alchemy is the new standard. Old standard is dead. But standard is like many, 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 many times more popular than alchemy. That's kind of the issue. Like, not only there's the issue that alchemy doesn't exist in paper, and then there's the issue that like alchemy is just like kind of flopped. I do wonder if these changes are designed more to improve alchemy than standard. I was reading the announcement article for Arena where they were talking about, hey, rotation's coming, renewal season, you'll get some free cards, that kind of stuff. I was reading that article, and when I was reading it, I was like, wow, like I kind of wonder. Oh, I guess I can't. We clicked into the survey earlier and didn't finish it, so I guess I can't go back and actually finish it at this point. So I guess the survey's off the table. But it did make me wonder, like, were these changes mostly to make standard better, or mostly to try to get people to play Arena, to play Alchemy on Arena? And I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure what the bottom line is. Anyway, what do we learn? What do we learn about our decks today? So we started with viewer submitted. Ooh, we got a new donation from McKeary with a $20 donation. One of my big worries is the Tri-Land staying in standard, because even if they really push the other colors, like Adamant, mana is good enough to always accommodate the black splash. That's true. I think we're entering a brave new world. It's a world that I would not have chosen this world. Thank you so much for the big donation, McKeary. I would not have chosen this world. I've been upfront about that from the beginning. I'm someone who thinks standard should rotate more frequently. There should be more bannings. Literally every decision Wizards made about standard is the exact opposite of what I personally would have done and what I would have wanted, how I would have enjoyed Magic the most. But I am open to the possibility that the way I would enjoy standard the most is not the way that most people would enjoy standard the most. So I'm just trying to remain hopeful and like let this play out. Basically, I've said my piece. It is exactly the opposite of what I would do, but I'm not going to spend the next 6 months just like harping on that, trashing Wizards because they did something I wouldn't do. I could be wrong. That's something I've learned many times. One of the best things about that I learned growing up is just because you believe something doesn't mean that's right. That's one of the lessons of my childhood that I am most glad I learned. So just because I believe this is wrong doesn't mean I'm right. Like, people believe things that are wrong literally all the time. That's part of being human. So I'm hoping that I'm the one that's wrong and Wizards is right in this case. And I think we'll know a lot more in a couple of months. Like, we'll see. Like, if we get Eldraine and nothing changes and standard, no one's really playing it, we do have historical precedents for Wizards like backtracking on their decisions pretty quickly. So we'll see. We'll just wait and see what happens. But for now, I'm crossing my fingers and praying to the Magic gods that Wizards threads that needle and just nails it, and that like Eldraine is a beloved set. It's strong enough to shake up standard, but not so strong that we're talking about banning stuff. So I'm just trying to like hope that that's how things turn out. What those odds are, I don't know if they're that high, but I'm hoping that that's how things end up. But I definitely agree with you about the mana base. Like, a lot of this is going to take time. Like, with this new skipping rotation this year, rotating every 3 years, the next year is going to be a mess, honestly, because they weren't designing for this. They weren't designing these sets in standard to be 3 years worth of cards. So stuff like having way more dual lands than normal, having the tri-lands not rotate, I think some of that's just going to be the unintended consequences of this change. But I want standard fix cards and rotate frequently. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, doesn't that sound like alchemy? But the problem is there's like, it's so funny because when you say like, I want cards to be like, I want bannings frequently, I want the format to rotate frequently, that ends up sounding like alchemy. But then there were like so many weird aspects of alchemy. The alchemy didn't end up being a beloved format. I think my guess is little rant on the way out the door. My guess is Wizards is surprised that alchemy has not been more popular. And I would not be a little bit surprised if this change to 3-year rotation was based on the idea that It's either that it was based on the idea of alchemy being popular and alchemy basically being standard. If you go back to the Goldfish podcast, right after alchemy was announced, like the week it was announced, we had Andrew Cuneo, pro player, really awesome guy on the podcast, and he talked about how he thought that alchemy, the idea of being able to fix stuff, be able to change stuff quickly, that would lead to it supplanting standard. Totally not how it ended up playing out in the long run for a whole bunch of reasons, but that was a real possibility. So I could see Wizards thinking, well, we're going to like slow down standard and paper. We'll have this alchemy format for Arena, best of both worlds. And it just didn't end up playing out that way in practice for, like I said, a whole bunch of little reasons. The other possibility is Wizards saw that alchemy was flopping and like, maybe we should try to push more people into it by making standard less appealing on Arena, by making it not rotate for a year and releasing this Lord of the Rings set. Maybe that'll get people to give alchemy another try. Like if standard looks pretty, all the stuff we're talking about, not changing, is black still going to dominate? Will the new set be enough to shake up the format without rotation? So I don't know. It's definitely interesting for sure. Anyway, what did we learn today? So Tooth and Nail, our viewer submitted Tooth and Nail deck, actually performed pretty well. We went 3-2 with the deck. We played so many life gain decks today, like a literally ridiculous number of life gain decks. I think almost every single round of all of our matches was life gain decks, which is kind of hard to believe, even for Arena where people really like life gain. But it was a lot of life gain. But Tooth and Nail, the plan kind of worked. Ramp. Knight of the Reliquary actually performed well. Get to Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail, we had one game where it wasn't enough to win the game, but almost every time it wins the game. And then Vampires, we only got in a couple of matches. I'll say it didn't feel super strong. Like, after playing, these are the first games I played with the deck. After playing a couple of games with the deck, I kind of feel like might have to add a little more power. Although Falcon Wrath Aristocrat felt really good. And again, we played 2 more life gain decks. So how do you know? How do you know, like, with such a small sample size? But anyway, everyone, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for today. So reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube. That's where you can find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Tomorrow we got a sweet combo deck for Against the Odds, so check that out. And one more reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Most importantly, thank you to each and every one of you. I love y'all. You're amazing and awesome. Thanks for hanging out. Wins, losses, joys, and sorrows. Y'all are amazing. Have an amazing night. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you on Thursday, 5 Eastern time, to have some more fun. So check out the Against Odds tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.